I'll win the space one more time. And I'm asking you to hear me out for a second. All of the people in Jamaica that have been hurt by this administration, the anti-Western administration, your hurt make me feel hurt because me look on you as my brother and my sister. You understand what I say? If what the government is doing is not directly affecting me, it still affects me because it affects you. You feel me I deal with? No, I understand say these people, them days going to come. You feel me I deal with? And you know, I have been uttering certain things on here, and I think it's important for me to correct it with the word of God. Because I just learned it, so I fully endorse Proverbs 24. See? So let me get into that, ladies and gentlemen. And what do I mean by that? Because now let's just say, when the time comes, I'm going to rejoice, I'm going to do all of this. You feel me I deal with? So I will pay attention to the entire scripture in its context, but also two specific verses. And if you really listen, you have to understand why those two specific verses in Proverbs 24 is very important. You feel me I deal with? So it says, be not envious of evil men, nor desire to be with them, for their hearts devise violence and their lips talk of trouble. By wisdom, a house is built. By understanding, it is established. By knowledge, the rooms are filled. With all precious and pleasant riches, a wise man is full of strength, and a man of knowledge enhances his mind. But for by wise guidance you may wage your war, and in abundance of counselors there is victory. Wisdom is too high for a fool. Don't be a fool, ladies and gentlemen. Let not what I'm reading here. Don't be a fool. Just listen. See? So wisdom is too high for a fool. Indicate he does not open his mouth. Whoever plans to do evil will be called a schemer. The devising of folly is sin, and the scoffer is an abomination to mankind. If you faint in the day of adversity, your strength is small. Rescue those who are being taken away to death. Hold back those who are stumbling to the slaughter. If you say, behold, we did not know this, does not he who weighs the heart perceive it? Does not he who keeps watch over your soul know it? And will he not repay man according to his works? My son, eat honey, for it is good, and the drippings of the honeycomb are sweet to your taste. Know that wisdom is such to your soul. If you find it, there will be a future, and your hope will not be cut off. Lie not in wait of a wicked man against the dwelling of the righteous. See, do no violence to his home. For the righteous fall 7 times and rise again, but the wicked stumble in times of calamity. Do not rejoice when your enemy falls. Do not rejoice when your enemy falls, and let not your heart be glad when he stumbles. Lest the Lord see it and be displeased and turn away his anger from him. These are the part, ladies and gentlemen, where the people are feeling the pain and the pangs of anti-wellness and in government. And when you lose family members, what about the police force all of it? The Bible said, do not rejoice when your enemy falls. The enemy of the people right now is the Jamaica government. Do not rejoice when your enemy falls. I'm not telling you to say, you don't take up nothing, I'm not telling you to do that, but I'm telling you, your day is coming. All of the things that we're going to do to people, Lord, no blind to it, God, no blind to it. But do not rejoice when your enemy falls, and let not your heart be glad when he stumbles, lest the Lord see it and be displeased and turn away his anger from him. So you know, see anti-wellness and the government of fall, or me see anti-wellness and the government of fall, and then we will rejoice and be glad, and then the Lord see we rejoice and say, sure, now I'm going to punish you, no more, man. Sure, now I'm going to punish you, no more, man. And that means get funny. See, say, let's not the Lord see it and be displeased and turn away his anger from him. He says, fret not yourself because of evildoers. So everybody out there fret. All these people in the government and all them involved, I would most say them in some darkness spiritually. See it does say the Lord, right? don't worry about them. And be not envious of wicked. Be not envious of the wicked. For the evil man has no future. The lamp of the wicked will be put out. My son, fear the Lord and the king, and do not join with those who do otherwise. You understand? So if you don't fear the Lord, God will tell you to join. You can't part if you don't fear God. If you don't deal with, for disaster will arise suddenly from them, and who knows the ruin that will come from them both. Goes on to say that these also are sayings of the wise. Partiality in judging is not good. Say that again. Partiality in judging is not good. Whosoever says to the wicked, you are in the right, will be cursed by peoples, adored by nations, but those who rebuke the wicked will have the light, and a good blessing will come upon them. Like and share up the live, guys. An honest answer kisses the lips. Guys, please like and share up the live. All you have to do is double tap the screen with your finger like this, right in the middle of your phone screen. Just double tap the screen and like the video. Thank you. Appreciate it. Prepare your work outside. Get everything ready for yourself in the field, and after that, build your house. Be not a witness against your neighbor without cause, and do not deceive with your lips. Do not say, I will do to him as he has done to me. Let me say that again. Do not say, I will do to him as he has done to me. I will pay the man back for what he has done to me. That's what the Bible says. Vengeance is of the Lord, ladies and gentlemen. You can't render tit for that. No. And you have left that up. If you really are worshiping God and everything, you have left that up to him. Because he's the one that is a just God and will give the just judgment that is necessary. Yes? I will live with that because he's sovereign. I passed by the field of a sluggard, by the vineyard of a man lacking sense, and behold, it was all overgrown with thorns. The ground was covered with nettles, and its stone wall was broken. Then I saw and considered it. I looked and received the instruction. A little sheep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to rest. And poverty will come upon you like a robber, and want like an armed man. This is the word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. So the main verse in this, ladies and gentlemen, in regards to what I was saying on my life that I had to correct, and the word show you, do not rejoice when your enemy falls, and let not your heart be glad when he stumbles, lest the Lord see and be displeased and turn away his anger from him. All right, the people, that is it. So, want to share that? Most of the people still not going to accept it, but we can't say they never hear it. You understand? That is it. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the platform. It's your brother Bolo VNR in this space once again. Boy, I will leave a Bangarang going in the parliament, you know. I saw Ishmael break the story. That's on Deeper TV. Big up Ishmael. Big up Ishmael, right? You see Ishmael break that story, and then Mr. Jerry Bryan expand on it. And now we see the newspaper take it up. Jamaica, outside of the economic collapse and the evidence of the economic collapse that the Jamaica Labour Party has put us through, Tiffy, what's up? We're getting at that. But more want to check this out.
On the role as clerk, since he would have had the experience.
Hold on there.
Yes. So Jamaica, I realized a couple of weeks Parliament keep out with us Colleen Low. All of a sudden we see one bright young miss sitting in the chair with Colleen Low normally sits as the clerk.
I will do that. I am on
and
the
for those of you who don't know, yeah? Remember when Miss Valerie Curtis was the clerk of the house? You used to have
Hi, Peter again.
the deputy clerk below Valerie, and then you have another. It's three of them. Valerie as the clerk, then you have the deputy clerk and somebody. Three of them up there. No. Jamaica.
Hey, come on in whenever you see it. I'm out at this bar.
What is something on ago? Lord have mercy. Look at the press power on
Just watching the scenery. But I gotta know.
For her.
What? What is something?
Hear me. Sidoma say it's okay. Yes. So Jamaica.
Let's go over that again.
I realized say couple weeks Parliament keep on with us Colleen Low.
Yes.
All of a sudden we see one bright young miss sit down in the chair where Colleen Low normally sits as the clerk.
Mm-hmm.
And for those of you who don't know, yeah? Remember when Miss Valerie Curtis was the clerk of the house?
Mm-hmm.
You used to have the deputy clerk below Valerie.
That's right.
And then you have another. It's three of them. Valerie as the clerk, then you have the deputy clerk and somebody. Three of them up there. Now, Jamaica, I want to know is who give Colleen Low the job as Speaker of the House. Because when I read the Constitution, yes, when I read the Constitution clearly outline. Yeah? And let me make sure I post it because we don't want nobody say we are doing no misinformation over here. I want you to share up this live, because we're going to see what is happening in the nation's parliament. Let me make you see what is happening. So here we have the Constitution. The office of the clerk and deputy, yeah, of the offices shall be made by the Governor General acting on the recommendation of the President. I wonder if you hear that. The offices of clerk and deputy clerk of the House of Representatives are hereby constituted, and appointments to those offices shall be made by the Governor General acting on the recommendation of the Speaker. All right. Subject to the provision of subsection 5 of the section of the clerk shall, unless he or she sooner resign his office, hold office until he attains the age of 65 or such later age as may, in any particular case, be prescribed by the commission appointed under subsection 7 of this section. So what this is saying, Jamaica, the clerk, deputy, is appointed by the President of the Senate. And the clerk is appointed by the Speaker. So the clerk, Miss Colleen Low, is appointed by the Governor General on the behalf of the Speaker of the House. Follow me now, students. So the clerk was put there by the Governor General on the behalf of the recommendation by the Speaker of the House. So the Speaker nominate the clerk. All right. So now we understand why Juliet Holness is very close to Colleen. We see them take trips together and them all over the globe together. All right, we understand that clear now, say. The Speaker of the House is the one that recommends who should be the clerk of the House, and the Governor General sanctioned that. All right. The deputy clerk of the House, Jamaica, is a gentleman that is most competent. His name is Christopher Cowan.
Christopher Cowan.
Follow me now, Jamaica. Christopher Cowan, the deputy, is appointed by who? The President of the Senate. So Juliet, the Speaker, appoints the clerk, and Tom Tavares appoints the deputy clerk. All right. Follow me now. Are you aware, Jamaica, that Colleen used to be down by the EOJ? Yes. Who before Everald Warmington become the chair for the EOJ. Where are my bright students? Who used to be the chairman for the EOJ before Everald Warmington go down there? Where my students them there? Tom Tavares, thank you, Article Smith. Thank you, me moderator Trems. All right, follow me now, students. Are you aware that the Speaker and the President of the Senate are not seeing eye to eye? Look, I couldn't hear what I said a while ago. Juliet, Oldest, and Tom are at odds. Because, Jamaica, it is rumored that Juliet take away Colleen from Tom. Backside. Come sit down good. So Juliet take Colleen and appoint her as the clerk. And me hear say from Juliet and Tom fall out a peer attitude. Colleen a give Tom Tavares, you know. Remember Tom Tavares, she used to work for down at EOJ.
What?
And since Juliet take with the little girlfriend down at the EOJ and bring her to Parliament, a peer attitude.
What you saying?
Anyway, we don't hear nothing yet.
What you saying?
Christopher Cowan, the brother where they right next to Colleen Lawyer, so is the deputy.
Yeah.
All right. I got some information, Jamaica, that the Integrity Commission send one report to the Parliament.
Yeah.
Separate from the 14 Jamaica Labour Party MPs, them where them saying at the report, you know. Only not here, so the IC send one final report down there. This time, somebody is to be charged for illicit enrichment, but that person belongs to the Senate.
Oh, what you say?
Hear about it?
What you
How many
say?
students them there in the class? Follow me now, you know, Jamaica. So the report was sent to Parliament, and the news is reporting that someone in the Senate this time is being recommended for charges, for breaches of the Corruptions Act, illicit enrichment, among other things. But we don't know who it is in the Senate because we know so they love sit down and they report them. Now, are you aware, Jamaica? Reality check, I don't want to mute you, so just relax yourself. I realized, Jamaica, that
Sheila, what's up?
Colleen Lowe is missing from Parliament. And when I look, I got some information. And the information I got, Jamaica, let me see if I can bring it up on the screen. Because you know over here, so we have with facts. And as an investigative journalist, I do my respective work. Yes? A letter was sent to the Parliament and the workers.
Hi,
And
Joy.
the letter states, dear staff, this is to advise that Miss Colleen Law, the clerk to the Houses of Parliament, will be on vacation leave from July 10th to July 24. During this period, Miss Ashley Zimenez, Legislative Counsel, will perform the relevant functions of the Office of the Clerk as they relate to the administration of the Parliament and the proceedings of the House of Representatives. Matters relating to the Senate will be handled by the Deputy Clerk of the Houses of Parliament. Accordingly, administrative, operational, staffing, financial, and other institutional matters which ordinarily require the attention of approval of the clerk and which fall within the scope of the temporary acting arrangements should be referred to Miss Zimenez for the duration of the clerk's absence. Matters relating specifically to the Senate should be referred to the Deputy Clerk as appropriate. All members of staff are asked to be guided accordingly and to extend the usual cooperation and support to ensure the smooth, impartial, and uninterrupted administration of the Houses of Parliament during this period. So, Colleen Law seems to go on leave, and she's not coming back until the 24th of July based on this letter. Now, my people, if Colleen Lowe is the clerk, right? And next to Colleen Lowe as the clerk, you have the deputy clerk. Mr. Christopher Cohen. In the absence, based on state protocol,
Yes.
in the absence of the clerk,
Yes.
the deputy clerk should assume the role as clerk until the clerk presents herself back to work.
Bingo. So what the problem? Why the youth never get the job? Me not have nothing against the girl, but something I go on in our parliament, obviously. The youth is a deputy clerk. Every deputy me know in a one job. When the clerk, yeah, if you have a deputy prime minister, the deputy takes the role of the person that is the actual head of the role when they're on leave. That is the natural order of things. That's how hierarchy works. So is it a situation where this youth is being snubbed out because of whatever? What is the reason for him not assuming the role of the clerk when the original clerk is gone? What is causing all of this? What kind of riff are going in our parliament? Jamaica want to stick around because that story is serious now. This was Dre Bryan like yesterday. Was it yesterday? Yeah, man, this was yesterday. Yesterday, Dre Bryan put out that story upon him TikTok. I'm a screen record it and post it. It's up on my page, on YouTube. Very interesting, ladies and gentlemen. Very interesting. Let's continue.
All right. How on God's earth you are going to replace the clerk of the house with an individual that was never formally introduced to the nation in the name of Miss Ashley Zimenez? Come on, somebody.
Talk to me.
And when I look next to Ashley Zimenez,
Yes.
there sit the sitting duck, Christopher Cohen. It look like them gag you, make you cannot speak.
Yeah, him not look comfortable.
And you are the deputy.
Him not look comfortable, Jamaica. You can't see it. When the girl at work and in the beside her, him not look comfortable. If you watch Parliament close enough and pre him not look comfortable. Is this woman power going on right now? Where the woman them a take over and a snuff the man them out? Me just ask because me don't know. Really want to know.
Deputy clerk.
Really
So in the
want to
absence
know.
of the deputy clerk, yeah, according to the constitution, let me just read, now you must assume the role as clerk. So how the hell Ashley Zimenez I gonna come sit down in the clerk position? I'm going to tell you know why. Because when I look at this Jamaica, here we have a clear breach of parliamentary procedures. Jamaica, let me ask you something. When was Miss Ashley Zimenez formally introduced and signed as the clerk Governor General? And I stand corrected. Maybe them do it behind closed doors, but we don't know. But normally, when the clerk is appointed, it has become a public document. So I think a formal statement should have been made that Miss Ashley Zimenez will assume the position as clerk of the house. We have yet to see that statement. And if it does happen, Jamaica, why is it that it's not circulating? I stand corrected. Maybe them formally introduced her. I don't know. But here is the substantial meat of the matter, Jamaica.
Yes.
Are you aware? Follow me now. Me telling you say, Colleen used to work down at EOJ, and Tom Tavares was the chairman for the EOJ, sit on the commission at the EOJ. All right. Juliet never stop until she get Colleen to stop work for Tom Tavares down at the EOJ and bring her to Parliament. So they got rid of Miss Valerie Curtis, thanks to the Speaker, and them install Colleen Lowe as the Speaker of the House. And one has to ask the reason why Colleen Lowe decided to take leave at this time. Come sit down, good my people. When you say the live a freeze, you don't know when time you bust up the things them so they like fight the platform. They could have fight so till they fight little more. The truth will be spoken this afternoon.
LMJ.
Jamaica, Chelsea said the live is fine, so I don't know. Momo, maybe I feel for me, I know
No,
people say
man.
them hear me. See, do I say it's okay?
Let me tell you, sometimes them block off some of my people them and kick them off our life. I saw them stay, them dirty. You hear me, I tell you? Pegasus at work. You remember good.
For her, Jamaica Queen said, no, it's not freezing. All right. Thank you guys for that reassurance. No. Follow me now, class.
Me I say,
When you see Colleen Lowe take leave of absence and them install Ashley Zimenez in her presence, you have to ask the question. Why Christopher Cohen never assumed the role as clerk, since he would have had the experience? He has been there, he know everything signed on the behalf of Miss Colleen Lowe because he's the deputy. Why the deputy never assumed the role as clerk until Colleen returns from her vacation? I'm going to tell you why. You hear me tell you, say, Colleen used to work down at the EOJ and Juliet fight to get her from Tom Tavares as she now sit down in a parliament on the behalf of Juliet recommendation. All right. Why do you think Colleen Lowe is leaving for vacation at a time as this? Jamaica. Only not realize, say Colleen Lowe, remember me tell you, say, a peer attitude she a get Tom Tavares since she becomes speaker, you know. All right. Only not realize that the Integrity Commission report come out concerning a member of the Senate to be charged. All right. Who is responsible for the Senate? No, Tom Tavares. All right. When we say Colleen Lowe come from before she sit down in the parliament, down at the EOJ. Then I never Tom Tavares down at the EOJ. And as the president of the Senate, if a report come out saying that somebody in the Senate is to be charged, you know, see the reason why Colleen Lowe take away herself as clerk of the House pending the tabling of such report. You know, realize say this little girl Colleen Lowe take away herself because she don't want to preside over a matter and table a report that has to do with Tom Tavares' Senate because she don't go to.
Jamaica, wanna hear that? Hey, it come like the IC report them a rip the Jamaica Labour Party apart. On every single level. And the man in greatest fear, you know. The fancy face big up. The man in greatest fear, ladies and gentlemen, is the Integrity Commission report them. If you clean and you're not involved in nothing, why you fear the Integrity Commission? If you clean, you don't have no skeleton in your closet, why would you fear the Integrity Commission? You're supposed to ready, man. You're supposed to ready like Freddy. You understand what I say? You smile when you see the AC, because you know you're clean. You feel me? I deal with my people. But the fact of the matter is, these people are not clean. These people in the Jamaica Labour Party are not clean. Them compromise like whoa, the whole of them, enough of them in a Bangarang. I got on time, you know. Una go see, man. All of una go see. See all the elaborate them I try to have them mouth. I talk about propaganda. Dog nyam on the supper. Can't tell you that. Una go see when it's too late. Oh, when it's too late. And someone don't know too. Someone don't know the people who are in a corruption. Because them una benefit too. Una benefit. Una germs. And una a problem in our country. And una tear down your country. I support corruption. And I support corrupt officials. Una know say them corrupt. And una still support them same way. So somebody in our Senate, ladies and gentlemen, we don't know who. But any tabling of the report that is stalled, Arlene, PMR. Yeah, some ketchup can give them. Yo, PMR they easy, you know. PMR they say, yeah, give them some ketchup so they can catch up with what go on. Mighty God. Mighty God. YouTube, I don't know what go on with YouTube, but them not send out the algorithm at all. TikTok. Kanzi official, what's up? What's going on, Kanzi? Big up yourself. This thing is not normal. What go on in our parliament, ladies and gentlemen? Wanna listen?
Jamaica people, only not realize what is happening. The cover up.
Hey.
Why this lady went on a vacation break at this important juncture.
You know, look good?
Now, when I look Jamaica,
Yes.
and I see this brother named Christopher Cowan
Yes.
as the deputy clerk sitting in the parliament, and make Ashley Zimini's come get in position, and make Colin Lowe walk all over. I'm not sorry for him, Christopher Cowan because he's a rotten Nazi labor right.
What?
I mean, Jamaica people look when I come with my facts, when I come with my, I don't sorry for them, I don't sorry for Christopher Cowan if you walk all over.
So the labor right them are fight the labor right them. Classic. Classic. You can't have no harmony when the foundation is evil, you know. The foundation of the labor right them is evil. A cult movement. My side, when I play a game, you know. I could play a game my side. The people, all the people them they run away. They run away. Anytime I see one game come up on TikTok, me I play, because I want to hit up the like button, you know. I want to send some gift, you know. Yes. So me find a way now how to continue the class and play the game. You understand? And so me mute them and you can't hear me. Cause that was my problem, you know. Me I say, oh, me I go do that. That don't make no sense. Me I have to go listen to them I play music in the background. That I go destroy the class. That I go destroy the conversation. You see me? Yeah. So me not have a problem for accept no game now. The TikTok. No problem whatsoever. You can help me for rank up all them something there. How this? Ice Code, what's up? You come in the chat and watch me in the bushes and I want to say hi. How are this, man? Big up Ice Code in the place. Chrissy365, big up. Let's continue.
Over you and shit by your head. And them are your labor rights, Jamaica. When me tell you, said them are ya. See me, you know Jamaica. See me here. See me here. Mona Campus Youth League G2K. See me here. President of MCYL Christopher Cowan presenting an award to one of the finalists on behalf of who? G2K. So that means that Christopher Cowan is a rotten labor right. See Christopher Cowan when he up a UE, a big labor right, actively campaigning for G2K as a labor right while he was at University of the West Indies. So me not sorry for him. See him there, we don't want no more proof than that. This is a Christopher Cowan is a labor right. See him there. See him there, Jamaica people.
Mighty God.
President of wherever Christopher Cowan presenting an award to one of the finalists on the behalf of G2K. Alright? So we're not sorry for Christopher Cowan if we take all of the foolishness what he's getting now. The question is, Jamaica.
Hi, Anne-Marie. Thanks for the follow.
How is it that Christopher Cowan, who is the deputy clerk, sit with a gag order? Because it has to be something internal is happening where if he come out and speak, he will either lose his job, hence the reason why they instate Miss Ashley Zimini's. Isn't this a clear breach of parliament procedure, Jamaica?
So hold on. So if him lose him job, Ashley Zimini is getting job, and then my girl the Colleen would resume for her job. I wonder if I saw it I go. What a preke.
Huh? And let me ask you something else. Because you can't tell me say them no gag this brother, yeah? Well, Jamaica, hella broke loose Anyway, Colleen loaded on vacation, she don't have no peace at all. In Jamaica. I hear say one broke way and tear with the go on in the offices of Parliament. Come here a little bit. See the letter come out here, Jamaica. Don't know who write it if a Colleen, I don't know. But one letter come out and it a circulate area. Dear all, I write to address a matter of serious institutional concern relating to the handling and disclosure of official information and internal correspondence. It has come to my attention that information contained in internal communications, which were clearly administrative in nature and circulated strictly on a need-to-know basis, appears to have found its way into the public domain and has now formed the basis of external media queries. This development raises grave concern regarding breaches of confidentiality, professional ethics, and statutory obligations owed by officers of the Houses of Parliament. I take this opportunity to remind all members of staff of their continuing and binding duty of confidentiality as set out in both the Staff Orders and the Official Secrets Act. Jamaica. Tell me if they don't put Mr. Christopher Cohen under...
Listen to me. No Jamaica, no secret. Daryl Vasi so. Daryl Vasi, nothing in Jamaica is secret, ladies and gentlemen. So why is supposed to start now? When the labor right them I get exposed. Why is supposed to start now? Father God continue to do the work. I don't sorry for none of them. Don't sorry for none of them.
It look like Christopher Cohen a speak out how them a treat him, you know. So it look like the clerk now come out and a threaten him, say him a commit breaches of the Secrecy Act. This is the nasty, dirty underbelly corruption where they go on in a parliament within the clerk of the house in Jamaica. This is a letter them send out now because people attack say who is Ashley Simonese and why is it that Christopher as the deputy clerk not in the position of the clerk until Colleen return. So now them are threatening Christopher Cohen. I don't sorry for them. I don't sorry for them. Them are labor right. But something mysterious is happening in Parliament. Something is definitely off, Jamaica. And we are not going to stop until we unearth the truth. So anyway you're there, on vacation, Miss Colleen Lowe, you shall know no name peace. Because we know, say, escape, you try escape the tabling of that report that accuses somebody within the Senate. And because you no longer see eye to eye with Tom Tavares, you recuse yourself. You're gone on vacation because you do not want to come between the Senate and Tom Tavares. So you take away yourself knowing damn well that the report will be tabled while you are on vacation. Everything is calculated that this parliament does. She take away herself, Jamaica, because she don't want to be there when that report is being tabled and she have to go read it out.
What a thing.
We are going to get to the bottom, Jamaica. We are going to get to the bottom of this mess.
Wow.
And I am telling you, Jamaica, that the clerk of this parliament shall have no peace on this vacation because they continue to conduct the affairs of that parliament as if it is their bedroom. And we come to put an ending to it and we're going to expose what is happening within this nasty wholeness administration. Jamaica, let us move on.
All right. So that was yesterday. Now, ladies and gentlemen, there was a newspaper article about it. What a thing. There was a newspaper article about it, ladies and gentlemen, pretty much confirming every single thing that Dre Bryan was saying and asking some questions. Which, let me go to my phone because I had screen recorded it while he was live. I think it starts here, yeah?
I'm not a big up in that hear me? Oh, true, me see some F1 a go up, man. If it say me a freeze, you know say when Dre Bryan a ball out the truth. And you realize in Jamaica the same thing happened yesterday, you know. You know realize the anytime me a beat the government and me a reach a point and it a reach a point and it a drop
Hold on, I get a call. Yeah, me up on the live now, my general. Me up on the live right now, me can't to talk. Me do on live right now. Me tell yourself just send me a voice note, my general. Me really busy, you know. Me really have no time for myself, you understand? Thank you. Yeah, man. Respect. Why?
Drive home a point. Only notice me life
Me need a vacation, you know. Yeah, man. Me need a vacation, man.
stick in Bolo. Only notice.
Of course.
It was in and out, you were freezing. And that me a try to tell you no. Every time, Bolo, me a try to drive home one point and the people them a connect on the point where me a try to make. I saw them work with me live, but I pity you no know. China know about me. You cannot hurt the Dre Bryan platform because if you look on my platform, me have me sky blue ring around me profile. China know. China. Imagine. Maxine Henry Wilson and the. But why you have a fling on statement? It leaves morning. For time to speak by Central Manchester. I bet you say Juliet Olness I go give the chair to either Eroy or the one up in a St. Andrew. I bet you say Juliet Olness will not sit there and preside over Parliament when Rhoda Crawford and make her presentation. This Parliament is in disrepute. Who remember yesterday I broke a story concerning the Houses of Parliament? Let us see if I can find it. Let me see if I can find that story yesterday. Give me a second, my people. Yes. Remember the Ashley Zimenez and the Colleen Lowe incident? And Mr. Christopher Cowan. This morning, I saw me know say me rate this a platform here. You know.
Listen the argument now. Cause I reach in a newspaper now, you know. Gone in a
when me go
newspaper.
on YouTube, me just ask God for him guidance and him protection. Yeah? And me ask the people when they part of my team where support me. Me no want to carry no Bagga cause me and Enuh no go on courthouse. Una see if you no have no evidence I want to attack say, Enuh no bring it come across my platform cause me no climb up no 11 step. Everything that I put on my platform I must be able to can prove it. So let me say that from now. Right? So yesterday, me no see it in a Observer, me no see it in a The Green, and me no see it nowhere. But yesterday, on this platform, the Dre Bryan Show, I would have raised an incident consisting of Colleen Lowe and Miss Ashley Zimenez and how the clerk of Parliament, yeah, continues to handle the affairs of Parliament.
Right.
Well, lo and behold, Jamaica. Yeah? I woke up this morning and I saw an article from the Jamaica Gleaner highlighting all that I would have said yesterday. And I said to myself, it seems as though the Dre Bryan Show
is being recognized for fair and factual information. Yes. When I broke the story yesterday, Jamaica, it leaves a lot for individuals to do their research. Because I got up this morning and the article is reiterating every single thing that was said yesterday. Let me see if I can pull up the article, Jamaica. Give me a second. Don't go nowhere, because we are going to expose what is happening with Juliet and the clerk at the house. Give me a second. Clerk at the house. Give me a second, please.
I load it up on my YouTube for play it faster. Soon done still about on 2 minutes. ABI News, what's up? Sparky, thank you. Brianna, big up yourself. Soon come. Marvy, thank you. Dolores, thank you.
Sorry about that. I found the article. Thank you guys for staying.
Tyrone, big up yourself, Tyrone.
Jamaica. So I would have broke the story yesterday where it seems like some breach have taken place where the clerk is concerned, Colleen Lowe and Juliet Holness. This woman in the grey jacket, Miss Ashley Ziminez, we are king out her teeth. Anybody recall this woman being sworn or
No, I mean, listen, I don't have any issue with Ashley Ziminez. I think she's cute, but what is going on in the parliament, ladies and gentlemen? What is going on?
being given
No, man.
the okay by the Governor General? Did the Governor General sanction this woman to become the Parliament's clerk until Colleen return? I could be wrong. But I don't believe that we should see a new face as the clerk of the house and nobody address who this woman is. Because you cannot tell me, say you are the clerk of the house and you go on vacation and there is a deputy clerk, and instead of the deputy clerk acting in your role until you return from your vacation,
Make it
you
make
allow
sense.
the deputy clerk to remain and you insert somebody there.
Else. Yeah, it don't make no
I am
sense.
telling you,
Something
Jamaica.
alright.
It seems as though
Teresa, big
Colleen
up.
Lowe took vacation because somebody, from the Senate, according to the Integrity Commission's report, I'm going to bust up the things them now, 12 minutes to 1 o'clock. Make I read the article first before me let the puss out of the bag. Listen good.
Listen good.
Employees at Garden House, the seat of the country's legislature, are reportedly peeved at a decision by management of Parliament to install a junior parliamentary council to act as clerk to the houses by passing the current deputy clerk to the house backside. As me know, said Trey Bryan platform credible. Me no come tell you yesterday say something a go on why them a hold on Mr. Christopher Cowan as the deputy clerk. Him should not be the
Christopher.
clerk until Colleen Lowe returns.
Listen up.
Well, see the Gleaner. Me no know if me can see it, Cause me not tell no lie pan ya.
A real thing, man.
Me not tell no lie pan ya at all.
I don't know if
See
you don't
the
go look
article
at the
that me a
article
read,
myself.
people, see it here? At the Gleaner article, this is me a read. Let me see if me can see it here. Hold on there. Hold on there, people. Hold on there, let me see. Let me find it. Hold on there, me people. Good. See it here? See it here? See the article here? Employees at Garden House,
The seat of the country's legislature are reportedly peeved at a decision by the management of parliament to install a junior parliamentary council to act as clerk to the houses, bypassing the current deputy clerk to the houses. The Gleaner has seen a memorandum from the Human Resource Department informing the staff that clerk to the houses, Colleen Lowe, has proceeded on vacation from July 10 to July 24, 2026. Well, on the people.
See article, yeah?
Remember yesterday when we broke the story, I came with my facts. Yes, this is the administrative HR document that was sent. And the fact that I broke the story and the Gleaner pick it up today, it shows that my sources are credible. All right? It shows that my sources are credible. Now, Jamaica, listen good. The correspondence further noted that in Colleen Lowe's absence, Legislative Counsel Ashley Zimenez would perform the relevant functions of the office of the clerk as they relate to the administration of Parliament and proceedings of the House of Representatives. Continuing, the document stated, accordingly, administrative, operational, staffing, financial, and other institutional matters which ordinarily require the attention of approval of the clerk and which fall within the scope of the temporary acting arrangement should be referred to Miss Zimenez for the duration of the clerk's absence. The missive stated that matters relating to the Senate should be handled by the deputy clerk to the houses. Christopher Cowan. This is the individual Jamaica who them a sabotage, but as me tell you, me no care, me no business because he's a labourite. Now Jamaica, it goes further. However, reliable sources told the Gleaner that the latest controversial development at Gordon House did not escape the attention of some senior parliamentarians whose eyebrows were raised on Tuesday when they saw the legal counsel acting in the role of clerk.
Rotted.
One parliamentarian who asked not to be named said it was quite unusual for the legal counsel, who is a junior member of staff to deputy clerk, to be elevated to act in the most senior administrative role. The member of parliament indicated that the situation that now exists, where the legal counsel is effectively supervising the deputy clerk, who is her senior, was perplexing. One member of
Jamaica, the youth where she is ahead of with the position that them give is our senior, Christopher Cowan. It must raise eyebrow. It's not regular parliamentary procedure. You understand?
staff who asked not to be named for fear of victimization told the Gleaner that the tradition in Parliament had been that whenever the clerk to the houses went on...
He might go correct it later on, PMR. He might go correct that. He might go correct the chairman of the ECJ later on in the somebody go correct him. Yeah, man. You're right about that. Come on, listening. Yeah, you're right about that, man. Yeah, man, you're right, man.
The deputy clerk automatically took charge of the administrative functions and the proceedings of the upper and lower houses. This is disrespectful to the deputy clerk, the employee said, adding that some of the administrative decisions being taken at Garden House were giving rise to a dysfunctional work environment.
What did?
Jamaica people.
Bangarang.
Me come yesterday with the news.
Bangarang.
And this morning the Gleaner take it up at the Gleaner. Me a reading in Jamaica. That shows you that my sources are competent.
People, me I go post a video there still, you know. Man, me I post a video there, but we have to go watch the situation now. Wow. Me don't know what go on with Tom Tavares Finson and Juliet Owens. I don't know what is going on. I really don't know what is going on, but This is very interesting. Now, Jamaica, outside of the parliamentary chaos war go on. And I don't really need to speak much on it, because whatever is in the darkness will come to light. I'm telling you. This is a season. I'm one, you see, the FLA. I watch the FLA very carefully. I look for some news coming out of the FLA, Yeah, man, I look for some news coming out of the FLA this month, before the end of July. I want to keep an eye on the FLA. There's a prophetic word where the FLA is concerned. Now, look on this, Jamaica. Carl Bruce, I sue the Integrity Commission, it appears. We're getting an article. Fresh lawsuit. The Integrity Commission is facing another lawsuit from Dr. Carl Bruce, Media Chief of Staff at the University Hospital of the West Indies, arising from a request for him to submit statutory declaration for more than 6 calendar years. So, he's suing the Integrity Commission because they have requested that he present his statutory declaration for 6 consecutive years. Cookie, what's going on? Nardia, may I tell you? No, you see this a prophecy about the FLA specifically? Me can play it for you. Let me play it for you. It a come from Apostle Jeffrey Shutter. Let me play it for you. Let me play a prophecy for FLA. It's on TikTok. On a word and a verse on TikTok. That is the page for Apostle Jeffrey Shutter. People, don't let nobody deter you from listening to the men and women of God here. The man them is on point, the man them is solid. You hear me I telling you? Use on pray to God and use on own discernment. Don't let nobody, me no business a who. Don't make nobody deter you from listening to the men and women of God. It can, what's up, Colin? It can mean your life being saved or you losing your life. You hear me say? Nobody, don't let nobody deter you from listening to the men and women of God. Alright? Because you see, most of the time, when God gives a prophet a word, it sounds crazy to everybody else. It sounds insane. Them can't like, what? That sound, it sound off. Because you don't have the eyes beyond, you don't have the sight beyond sight. You don't have it. So it's gonna sound crazy to you. You understand? Yes. But listen to this.
By or before the end of July 2026, we are decreeing and declaring, effective immediately at the hand of God, that God will visit this entity, removing those who are to be removed, and to replace such individuals with righteous men and women of God. We are speaking righteousness over the FLA, that the hand of God will move, that he will dispatch his angels, yes, to visit that entity, and that sweeping changes be orchestrated by the hand of God, since those who have been placed in the position to ensure that this agency, FLA, is properly managed and regulated for the functions given to it, right? Alongside the functions given to it, they have failed, and they refuse to step aside. And now we're asking God in Christ by his Holy Spirit to visit this entity, such that Christ by his Holy Spirit to visit this entity, such that righteousness can spring forth in the FLA from top to middle to bottom in Jesus' name. And we're expecting
as we pray the process through, that God will shake this entity, shake this authority, shake this body, such that those who are not rightly aligned will be shaken from the entity and be replaced by men and women of righteousness in Jesus' name. And this will have a ripple effect right across the Ministry of National Security and the government on the whole, in Jesus' name. So as we continue our seasonal fasting and prayer, today being the final day of the 7th week, 12 midnight to 12 noon, and we are going to be stepping into week 8 at 12 midnight later on. We will continue, and this is going to be a recurring item on the prayer list. Let us pray for this entity, that God will intervene and shift what is to be shifted, remove those who are to be removed and replaced, so that righteousness can spring forth in Jesus' name. By or before the end of July 2026, we are decreeing and declaring, effective immediately, that the hand of God, that God will visit this entity, removing those who are to be removed, and to replace such individuals with righteous men and women of God. We are speaking righteousness over the FLA, and that the hand of God will move, that He will dispatch His angels, yes, to visit that entity, and that sweeping changes be orchestrated by the hand of God. Since those who have been placed in the position to ensure that this agency, FLA, is properly managed and regulated for the functions given to it, right, alongside the functions given to it, they have failed. And they refuse to step aside. And now we're asking God, in Christ by His Holy Spirit, to visit this entity, such that Christ by His Holy Spirit to visit this entity, such that righteousness can spring forth in the FLA from top to middle to bottom in Jesus' name. And we're expecting, as we pray the process through, that God will shake this entity, shake this authority, shake this body, such that those who are not rightly aligned will be shaken from the entity and be replaced by men and women of righteousness in Jesus' name. And this will have a ripple effect right across the Ministry of National Security and the government on the whole, in Jesus' name.
So only you are going this up. Right? Only you are going this on my side. FLA. There's a declaration for the FLA. Changes to happen this month. So may I watch the FLA, ladies and gentlemen, with a keen eye. May I listen out for any news. And not because you don't hear news, you know means nothing not going on, you know. I want to remember that. Because you know them love to hide things from us, don't it? Yes. They love to hide things from us. I have to come closer to my workstation because I need the speaker, you know. They're in the kitchen. But I need the speaker, man. Ah. 1 second, my people. Just give me a couple seconds there. Yes, yes. Yes, yes. Let me go to the article with Mr. Carl Bruce. No. Go to it from the computer. Whoa, what is? That's right. Sorry. Peer things are going left, right, and center. Nobody not safe. All of the ministry them are fail. When you hear what going with the education ministry, oh gosh. No sir. I don't know where them up here Marlon Morgan and what's she name? That lady there. What's she name again? Dana Morris Dixon. Three of them are get paid in the education ministry, you know. I don't know what they say them do. I don't know what they say them do. What they do? What are they doing that is affecting positive change in the results of the children? What them do? Waste of time, Jamaica. Total waste of time. You never know. Bluetooth is connected. Awesome. Get another article here. Mr. Carl Bruce. Dr. Carl Bruce. They call him a brute.
Enuh classifieds mobile apps. Sign in, subscribe now. Latest news. The Integrity Commission, IC, is facing another lawsuit, this time from Dr. Carl Bruce, Medical Chief of Staff at the University Hospital of the West Indies, UHWI, arising from a request for him to submit statutory declarations for more than 6 calendar years, court documents have revealed. The IC is Jamaica's principal anti-corruption body to which public officials are required to make annual declarations of their income, assets, and liabilities. Bruce was required by a notice dated April 8th this year from Joth Jones, Director of Information and Complaints at the IC, to submit statutory declarations for the period August 1st, 2018 to December 31st last year. According to redacted documents disclosed by the Court Administration Division, CD, on Tuesday, in response to a request by the Gleaner. However, in an urgent application for court orders, the medical doctor challenged the notice, asking the Supreme Court to declare that the designation public official, as defined by Section 2 of the Integrity Commission Act, does not apply to him for the period indicated by the IC. In addition, Bruce, who is represented by the law firm Georgia Hamilton and Company, asked the court for a declaration that the notice from the IC is null and void and of no effect, and an injunction barring Jones and the anti-corruption body from enforcing or taking any steps to enforce the notice. There is a serious issue to be tried as to whether the claimant, Bruce, is a public official within the meaning of the Integrity Commission Act and ought properly to have been issued a notice by the defendants, he asserted in the court filings. The IC is barred by law from commenting publicly on active cases. Attorneys for both sides presented their legal arguments in 2 hearings on May 20th and July 7th. The presiding judge is expected to give her ruling on September 8th. An interim injunction barring the IC from enforcing the notice was also imposed by the judge and will remain in effect until the next court date, CD confirmed. Chairman of the IC, retired Supreme Court Judge Carol Lawrence Beswick, noted that in the last financial year there was an increase in legal actions filed against the Commission and particular members of its leadership team. Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness and de facto Science, Technology and Special Projects Minister Dr. Andrew Wheatley are among the senior public officials who have taken the Commission to court over the findings of separate investigations into their statutory declarations. The Commission, through its Director of Corruption Prosecution, has indicated that Wheatley is to be charged with illicit enrichment and other crimes for alleged breaches of Jamaica's corruption prevention law. Lawrence
No, Sam, I forgot to put out this one here. I have some questions to Dr. Carl Bruce. Ladies and gentlemen, who want to go on with this brother Bolo Vienna, I'm there upon the app, you know. One ball up on the app. Mr. Dr. Carl Bruce, I have one question for you. What is going on? What is actually going on, Mr. Carl Bruce? I want to know what is really going on. Right? How comes your name a pop up in an IC thing now? How go on? IC faces fresh lawsuit. Jamaica, make we listen to the article here. Mighty God. This is very interesting. I have a few questions for Dr. Carl Bruce. And I have a few questions to Enuh as well. I'm sure you guys are going to have a few questions for yourselves when you actually listen to this article here being read to you. So let's go into it. Remember to like the video. Remember to share the video. Don't keep it to yourself. As you come in, just press the like button. It's free. It is free, ladies and gentlemen. Alright? Yeah, man, I know the donation options are there, the super chat, all of that good stuff. But let's get into the article, ladies and gentlemen. Very interesting.
Beswick and Craig Beresford, Executive Director of the Anti-Corruption Body. The Integrity Commission, IC, is facing another lawsuit, this time from Dr. Carl Bruce, Medical Chief of Staff at the University Hospital of the West Indies, UHWI, arising from a request for him to submit statutory declarations for more than 6 calendar years, court documents have revealed. The IC is Jamaica's principal anti-corruption body to which public officials are required to make annual declarations of their income, assets, and liabilities. Bruce was required, by a notice dated April 8th this year from Joth Jones, Director of Information and Complaints at the IC, to submit statutory declarations for the period August 1st, 2018 to December 31st last year. According to redacted documents disclosed by the Court Administration Division, CD, on Tuesday, in response to a request by the Gleaner. However, in an urgent application for court orders, the medical doctor challenged the notice, asking the Supreme Court to declare that the designation public official, as defined by Section 2 of the Integrity Commission Act, does not apply to him for the period indicated by the IC. In addition, Bruce, who is represented by the law firm Georgia Hamilton and Company, asked the court for a declaration that the notice from the IC is null and void and of no effect, and an injunction barring Jones and the anti-corruption body from enforcing or taking any steps to enforce the notice. There is a serious issue to be tried as to whether the claimant, Bruce, is a public official within the meaning of the Integrity Commission Act and ought properly to have been issued a notice by the defendants, he asserted in the court filings. The IC is barred by law from commenting publicly on active cases. Attorneys for both sides presented their legal arguments in 2 hearings on May 20th and July 7th. The presiding judge is expected to give her ruling on September 8th. An interim injunction barring the IC from enforcing the notice was also imposed by the judge and will remain in effect until the next court date, CD confirmed. Chairman of the IC, retired Supreme Court Judge Carol Lawrence Beswick, noted that in the last financial year there was an increase in legal actions filed against the Commission and particular members of its leadership team. Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness and De facto Science, Technology and Special Projects Minister Dr. Andrew Wheatley are among the senior public officials who have taken the Commission to court over the findings of separate investigations into their statutory declarations. The Commission, through its Director of Corruption Prosecution, has indicated that Wheatley is to be charged with illicit enrichment and other crimes for alleged breaches of Jamaica's corruption prevention law. Lawrence Beswick and Craig Beresford, Executive Director of the Anti-Corruption Body, both emphasized that the IC respects the constitutional right of every individual to access the courts, but raised concerns about the implications of this emerging trend of legal challenges. Without mentioning names, Lawrence Beswick indicated in the Commission's annual report for the 2025 to 2026 financial year that there is a legitimate concern that the increasing resort to litigation against the IC and its officers in the execution of their lawful duties may, intentionally or otherwise, impede the timely discharge of its responsibilities. The courts play a vital role in safeguarding the rule of law and ensuring that public bodies operate within their legal authority, she noted. However, it is equally important that the lawful execution of the Commission's mandate is not frustrated, delayed, or undermined by actions designed solely to discourage robust investigations or to inhibit the Commission from carrying out the mandate entrusted to it, the IC chairman added. Liver.Barrett at Gleaner J.
What can go
So, Dr. Carl Bruce, when I come to the front of the class, I just want to have a quick word with you. I want to have a quick word with you and all of the person them we have challenged the Integrity Commission. Andrew wants to include Dr. Andrew Whitley Xavier Main. All of your situations are unique, you know. So let me just talk about Dr. Carl Bruce. Dr. Carl Bruce, the first thing that comes to our mind as citizens of the country, I would put money on this, although I'm not a gambling man anymore. I would put money on this. The first question that comes to any well-thinking Jamaican mind: what are you hiding, Dr. Carl Bruce? You got a request from the Integrity Commission, right, to give them your statutory declaration for the last 6 years. Roland, how are you doing? I know some need to stop yelling off because somebody saying in the comment section saying to stop yelling up, you know, when me I do my reaction. So if you don't see me cartoon, don't see no. People them not like it. Anyway, Mr. Carl Bruce, where you hide? The man requests for your statutory declaration 6 years ago. What are you hiding? Don't you work in a capacity where, you know, you would have some type of access to our tax dollars? Wasn't there an issue the other day with donated funds for the Sagicor program? And it was stated that the money was supposed to go one way, and there was some controversy about where the money actually went, and also, you know, alleged information that people were notified about the changes, and then people were saying they weren't notified. It was very shady, to say the least, which you apparently was at the center of. So, you know, when I couple that in, and I remember, you know, lessons from Mystic Sensation, which I'm sure he's gonna touch on this article at some point, to expand even further in your antecedents. This is a new one. Stopping from actually giving the Integrity Commission any access to your financial information from the jump. This is the attempt that you're making in court. The argument is that you're not a public official. I will be watching this very closely to see where the law actually stands with the definition in the Integrity Commission Act to determine whether or not you are indeed a public official. And you know, if it is that the IC does win against you, what then? What will the IC uncover about Dr. Carl Bruce? Is Dr. Carl Bruce one of the illicit? You know, this actual court action from him is going to raise these very legitimate questions in an environment of a lack of trust, given what is already happening at the UHWI, which I think we'll have to get into as an added feature here where this reaction is concerned. I think it's only fair to show you guys the gravity of this particular situation with Dr. Carl Bruce, right? So let me go into some of that, ladies and gentlemen. Let me go into some of that, because 1 second. Let's go into some of that. I believe Andre had done a video on it, right? PDTV, yes. And he had read the article. The Dr. Carl Bruce. He didn't put out an official video. Let me go on the live. Let me go on the live.
Keep yourself
799.
make a national and get some of the TC and money to come challenge Marco. Who know welcoming and not her allegations are that now I'm going up to the University of the West Indies. Zara Burton wrote a very interesting article. Tonight, fresh questions are being raised about leadership at the University Hospital of the West Indies. A woman who was elected to become the UWI Hospital's new chief executive officer, but ultimately was turned down. The job has broken her silence. Dorothy Hosin claims she encountered resistance from senior figures at the hospital and says there was little appetite for the reforms she had hired to deliver. Among her allegations are that Minister Chris Stockton was not welcoming, that senior officials refused to engage with her, officials like Dr. Carl Bruce.
So, Dr. Carl Bruce, is it true that you didn't want to engage with this lady that came to clean up the UHII? One that was a professional and one that could not be, corrupted? Is it true that you were not welcoming? Well, according to her, that's what she said. I remember when I first read about this story with the UHII in that time period, somewhere in between, maybe not the first. But I said, I wish I could interview this lady to get her perspective. Because what was said about Christopher Tufton, Fitzgerald Mitchell, and Dr. Carl Bruce is now coming to light. The truth, ladies and gentlemen. The truth. That they didn't want this lady to be there at all. And then you have to ask the question, why? Why? A dysfunctional UHII that has gotten worse clearly is losing money. Right? Why was it so important for them to shun this lady? And you wonder why the Integrity Commission wants to look into your financials? Devil is a liar. Let's continue.
And that other powerful interests undermined her appointment. Let's go through some of her criticisms.
Yes.
Here's what she said in that interview.
Yes.
Lack of support from senior leadership. Hosin says it became apparent that key decision makers did not genuinely want her to become CEO, despite the board selecting her.
So, what about these decision makers? What was the benefit of you being in the position that you were in? Why you didn't want this lady to be in the position that she was elected and selected for? Was she going to stop on her food? You know them say at Jamaica, she a black with food. She want a black on her food. But that's a ask. She want a black on her food. She was gonna black on her food. I'm asking. What was it? What was this vibe against the lady that was clearly qualified for the job? Dr. Carl Bruce, Fitzgerald Mitchell, and Christopher Tufton. What was it?
Health Minister Chris Tufton, she described the minister as not welcoming and not welcoming during her visit, and suggests his actions gave the impression he was favoring then acting CEO Fitzgerald over her.
So, Tufton, it is said, it is alleged that you and Fitzgerald Mitchell used to go to school together. Is that true? It is alleged that you guys are part of the Manchester Boys. Yes. Carl Bruce included. That's the allegations. Is that true? Are you guys some type of diabolical trio that has come to destroy the healthcare system? Don't answer that, because we know you're not going to answer, but me have to ask the question. Because this is what people are thinking. Because myself as well, this is what people are thinking, you know. Because it don't make any sense for this lady that has the experience, that already done the job that was needed for the UHWI in international spaces, come here and you, Fitzgerald Mitchell, and Dr. Carl Bruce will treat her in this way. Very interesting.
Hey. Then acting CEO Fitzgerald, who is seen alleged, refused to give her the scheduled tour of the hospital, despite Jamaica being assigned that responsibility. Hey.
So now Fitzgerald Mitchell was assigned the responsibility to give the lady the tour and showed animosity towards the lady and didn't give her the tour. Wow. The hostility. Mighty God.
She also notes that the latter became CEO, even though the former board chairman had claimed that Michelle ranked at or near the bottom of the interview process.
So Fitzgerald Mitchell was at the bottom. Last, dead last in a class, and win the position, forget CEO. I wonder why. Sound like favoritism to me. Sound like you have a friend in the high places. Sound like nepotism, cronyism, corruption. And what has been the result? My assumptions and assertions are validated by the current situation that is at the UHWI based off the Auditor General reports. Wagwan, bro, what a tangled web we weave, man.
Chief Medical Officer Carl Bruce, you remember we talk about the Manchester boys, Courtney, says,
let him cook.
Person says Bruce declined to meet her, and she was informed he had said he would not report to her if she became CEO.
So Dr. Carl Bruce, according to the lady, you were very defiant. You not report to nobody. So you know, this makes a lot of sense, given that you don't want to report to the Integrity Commission. This attitude of you are above it all. Oh, that I'm not a public official, so you cannot get my statutory declaration, and I'm taking it to the court. So now we understand Dr. Carl Bruce said this is your modus operandi. And then it would tie into your court case, right? With the other doctor that claims that you're a brute. And there's allegations about abuse in the courtroom. It's all making sense. It's all making sense into what it appears to be your character is based off these court cases. When I look at everything in its entirety, what this lady is saying, your court case with the Integrity Commission, and the allegation in the court case with the doctor, and what was said about you in spaces online, that there's other people that have been victims of your abuse in the space of your professional career. There's a lot of allegations about you. But your own action against the Integrity Commission to not want to disclose your last 6 years of statutory declaration, telling the court that, listen, I'm not a public official. Let them know they cannot get any of my financials. That's what you're trying to achieve in the court. It says a lot when you don't want to answer to this lady that is clearly above your expertise in terms of her qualifications. Wagwan Odi. So your argument is that, what's up Jada? Your argument is that, Dr. Carl Bruce, is that you are not a public official and you're going to challenge that under the law. I'm telling you, I am going to watch this case with bated breath to see whether or not what the law says coincides with your argument or not. Are you trying to buy time, Dr. Carl Bruce? Was this your best option from your legal counsels to not share the information that the Integrity Commission is requesting of you where your statutory declaration is concerned? Because you believe that you're above it all. I'm just asking. These are questions. I would love to hear your answers in the comment section. Somebody send me this video, man. Somebody send me this. Well, the lawyer, they're going to tell us they don't say nothing. But we still ask the question. We still ask the question. Or the questions. I have many questions. And I'm forming my own opinion based off other events that I have seen and allegations that I've heard. I could be wrong. What I'm saying is not, it's done and it's facts. No, I could be wrong. That's why I'm asking questions. I could be wrong. But I don't think I am, though. I think I'm onto something. I really do. Let's listen more.
Bruce declined to meet with her, and she was informed he had said he would not report to her if he or if she became CEO.
So, Dr. Carl Bruce, did you say that you would not answer to her if she became CEO? You decided that, did you decide that, hey, I'm above it all and I'm not answering to any woman from overseas. I am bigger than that. She's not bigger than me. I answer to nobody. Was that your attitude? Did you say that, Dr. Carl Bruce? Are you going to come out and refute the statements made by this lady in the interview with Zara Burton? I would love for you to try. I would love for you to do that. I would love it because it would open another can of worms. Because we would love to get this lady on the soil. Well, no, her life might probably be in danger. She don't need to come here. But I'm glad that Zara Burton had the opportunity to reach out and do this interview. Very, very glad. Let's continue.
Resistance to the reform. Her broader criticisms is that the hospital entrenched power struggles and power structures makes genuine reform extremely difficult.
So, ladies and gentlemen, what the lady is saying is that the way how the hospital power structure is structured, it would not be able to facilitate the change necessary to get them out of the dysfunction that is the UHWI. And I have heard the same thing from Dr. Alfred Dawes. Absolutely. Do you guys remember the series that he did about the UHWI? That was his conclusion. There has to be major reform changes for the entity, the UHWI, to stop bleeding money. Yes. Do you remember the report about the USWI car park and the fact that the security would be using a piece of a book to register money and collect it and them something there? Yes. Millions of dollars weekly, ladies and gentlemen. Yes. From the car park. Well, easy. A system that at the time was not sufficient for accountability. And Dr. Carl Bruce, Fitzgerald Mitchell, and Christopher Tufton, all of them have some type of responsibility to the UHWI. All of them.
He argues that simply appointing a new CEO will not solve the UA problems until there is a cultural change. Mighty God, what? You know, hear the Jamaica? The nice lady leave from overseas and come and experience Courtney, dirty Jamaican, Kuro Baga style of leader.
So, at the end of the day, she realized that she wouldn't be able to do her job anyway, given how things were structured. There had to be a cultural change. And as we see Christopher Tufton's decisions, is not facilitating a total reform. He has no intention of shaking anything up. His actions speak louder than his words. What has happened with the research that they did for 3 months since the damning report came out? Have we heard anything else, ladies and gentlemen? But you see what happens? God continue to expose them now. The more they try to shovel the dirt under the rug, the more dirt is piling up and coming from the outside, and the rug now have no more space under it. The entire situation is filthy. That's what we're witnessing, you know? That's what we're witnessing. So, like I said, Dr. Carl Bruce is suing the Integrity Commission, and we'll see how it goes. We're going to keep an eye on this story, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see how it goes. We will see how it goes. Very happy, man. Mighty God. Like, share, and subscribe, my people. Let's move on. See what else is happening. Alright. Oh, yes. We'll see what else is happening. Yes, okay. Me, if you do a new intro video for put out, you know, but I got on time still. I don't know if you guys are aware, but Mr. Will Rattigan had a transformational interview. I have to tell you, if you guys had any doubts about this TCN, your doubts would be absolutely validated. You see the first statements that Mark Jefferson Golding made in regards to the TCN deal, the legal implications, potentially, all of that was validated in an interview with a victim of the TCN deal, a Jamaican pastor that is in Eswatini right now. Yeah, him and his family was on the Jamaica Legal Defense Foundation on YouTube. I did a reaction to part of the video on my platform on Bolo VNR 2.0. It said, Will Rattigan break massive story on pastor sent away on TCN deal. Family not doing well. That is the title of the video. So, Kamina Johnson Smith has been MIA. Woman of God, big up yourself. Kamina Johnson Smith has been MIA, ladies and gentlemen. It's very interesting what is going on in the country. Alright, this is her portfolio. One of the things that stood out in and I did a short video on it. It's on my TikTok, and also let me play it. Let me play it for you guys. It's on my TikTok. Let me play it for you. Instead of me explaining. Oh, Lord have mercy. Bolo VR. There we go. Yes. Hasn't gotten a lot of traction on TikTok yet, but listen. Alright, so ladies and gentlemen, welcome on TikTok. You know the TCN deal, right? There's a couple Jamaicans that have been victims of the TCN deal that are sent to other countries. I want to focus on one that Pastor Alves that Mr. Will Rattigan interviewed tonight. He's in Eswatini. And I want you to listen to this, ladies and gentlemen. Listen to this. Let's listen to this.
Jamaican High Commission. Now, the Jamaican High Commission, it sits right here in Johannesburg. Right? From Johannesburg to Babani, which is the capital of Eswatini right here. My recollection serves me well. I think it was a few hours drive. I think it was 3 hours or something like that for us. It's not, in the scheme of things, it's not too far for the Jamaican officials in Johannesburg to reach out to the Eswatini officials in Johannesburg and say, listen, we know that there are 3 of our nationals being held in detention in your country, and so we want to have a consular visit with them, or a welfare visit, whatever they call it. And that is something that could easily be arranged and for them to travel, to go and eyeball him. And the whole purpose of that is to make sure that the person is in good health, that they talk to the person, that the person is not being harassed, that the person is being fed, enough clothes,
medication.
They're not being targeted for any reason. And then you're also supposed to help with, getting them their medication, a little money, whatever the creature comforts are that they need. You're supposed to assist with that. That hasn't happened. And I'm really, really disappointed in the government. And I'm hoping that the reason why I kind of reserve my true feelings and just leave it at I'm disappointed is because I don't know the full story. However, I do know this, that this man has been in Eswatini since last week, and that a lot of people know that he's there. In fact, his story has been all over the world. The government hasn't been there. So I don't know if they don't have enough cars to drive there, if the planes are not flying to Swaziland. And I say Swaziland because before it was Eswatini, it was called Swaziland. They only changed it to Eswatini a few years ago. So I don't know what's going on, but Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, you need to go to this place and pay this man the consular visit. Not just him, but the other Jamaicans.
All of them, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the least they deserve, which is so crazy to me because, the way the United States just give up on them, and then to know that you don't even have your own country, you know what I'm saying, to even do a wellness check on you, to make sure you're okay. It makes you feel like, and they've been in them same clothes since a week. Before, my dad's been in the same clothes, I think 11, 12 days. So I can imagine what the rest of them are going through.
Right. Oti, go back to the map, please. I mentioned the Jamaican High Commission. It's not in Johannesburg. It's in Pretoria. And and I should know because I lived in Pretoria. Like I said, it's even close.
So, let me make you finish.
So there's absolutely no reason. So we're asking the Jamaican government, but people, and I mean, we're not being critical of the government, but there are some things that happened in the past, and we're hoping that those things don't present.
I'm being critical of the government. Yeah, man. I'm being 100% critical of the government. Pretoria is way closer than Johannesburg to Eswatini. The man is diabetic. Absolute disgrace. This is what they are getting paid all this money for. The best of the best, the cream of the crop. Can't even protect and look out for Jamaican citizens in international waters. Remember the children with the war? You all remember that? You remember the people in Cuba? With that situation, the children again? There's a trend, ladies and gentlemen. There's a trend. Alright, so ladies and gentlemen, welcome. So, Pretoria is close to Eswatini. It's kind of the same distance. But Pretoria, how you doing, Debbie? George, big up. But Pretoria is where they have Jamaican officials in that area of Africa. And of course, that those officials could visit as diplomatically visit the Jamaican nationals there. It's over a week and nobody has visited. I put out a video, an actual video with the conditions, some of the conditions that the father mentioned, and he heard the daughter. She was very disappointed that the country of his own birth, the country of his own birth, the Jamaican officials didn't even reach out to him and said, 1 week is too long, ladies and gentlemen. There's no excuses for that. If it was a priority for them, they would have been there. Palmer, big up. If it was a priority for them, they would have been there. They're not business. They don't care. They don't care. They have no care in the world, my people. But at the same time, again, Jamaica is on the verge of economic collapse. Did you guys watch the video that I put out from as a matter of fact, there's tons of articles me talk about video. I'm going to the article them. The inflation rate through the roof in Jamaica. Hold on, let me get the article here and send them out. I'll send them to my computer. Yo, the amount of Bagga we are going with Jamaica is on the verge of a total economic collapse once again under the Jamaica Labour Party. We can't make this up. Government eyes cheaper oil deal, me no want to see that. Third call for urgent view of Road Traffic Act. Urge operators to contest tickets in court. That's our next problem. And low pay is hurting the Integrity Commission. That's also a problem as well. You remember when they said that, you know, you have to pay the government to attract the best? What is the difference with the Integrity Commission? We they need persons of integrity and expertise to do those types of jobs. What is the difference? And the education system, oh my God, collapse again. Just give me a second and let me send out them link to my phone, all of them articles. I have to go over them now. I have to go over them, Jamaica. There we go. The computer go pling, pling, pling. Watch out. What is? Right. Oh, come on. Stop it. There we go. That's it. Oh, we can just maneuver easier. Next article. One more article. Alright. Go back to this. Copy this. Copy this. Jamaica, we get lick left, right, and center here. When the pastor said the screws are being tightened, he never tell a lie. Remember me tell her that. Screws are being tightened all the way. Enough people right now, me know so they can't afford food to eat. On a daily basis, them a live pa more than hand to mouth. You understand? It's more grimmer than that. People probably all are starved right now and can't get no food to eat. Alright, I could go in there now. Go in there tonight for this. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, it's your brother Bolo VNR, and in this one, we're going to go through a series of articles that have serious implication on our day-to-day lives, where cost of living is concerned and all of that. So I want you guys to share this video. Share this video. It says inflation surges to almost 7%. Let's start there. One of the biggest elephants in the room, ladies and gentlemen. One of the biggest elephants in the room is inflation. And it tells you, it gives you an idea as to where we are economically. So let me just read this aloud so you guys can get an idea of what's going on.
That's according to the latest data from the Statistical Institute of Jamaica, Staten. Jamaica's point-to-point inflation rate has climbed to 6.7% for the month of June. That's according to the latest data from the Statistical Institute of Jamaica, Staten. This is the first time the metric has gone over 6% in nearly 2 years. The figure moved from 5.5% in the month prior. It represents the first time since August of 2024 that the country's point-to-point inflation rate has breached the Bank of Jamaica, BOJ's upper inflation range of 4 to 6%. According to Staten, this was mainly influenced by the point-to-point inflation rate for the division's food and non-alcoholic beverages, transport and housing, and water, electricity, gas, and other fuels.
Jamaica, that is everything. Everything what they just mentioned a while ago is what affects everyone away. Even if you are a laborite. Food, non-alcoholic beverages, transport, housing, water, electricity, gas, and other fuels. That's everything. All the main things we use.
Meanwhile, inflation for the month of June was 0.8%. The increase was primarily driven by a 4.3% rise in the index for the transport division due to increased route taxi and hackney carriage fares. There was also an increase in the index for the food and non-alcoholic beverages division, which went up by 0.7%. This movement was mainly influenced by higher prices for some agricultural produce such as carrots, cabbages, onions, and sweet peppers. Share. Previous Antigua wants...
So, please understand that we're heading in the wrong direction, ladies and gentlemen. We're absolutely heading in the wrong direction. Alright? So, economically, we now want to buy. Now, let's go to the taxi fares then. Taxi fares and food push inflation to the 29-month high. I guess this is the article going. This goes a little deeper, so let's look into this. This is the Observer, yes. So let's look into this article, ladies and gentlemen, as well. Can't hurt.
Kingston, Jamaica. Jamaica's annual inflation rate accelerated to 6.7% in June, its highest level since January 2024 and above the Bank of Jamaica's, BOJ, target ceiling, as higher route taxi fares added to steep food price increases and rising household costs. The point-to-point rate rose from 5.5% in May and exceeded the BOJ's target range of 4 to 6% for the first time since February 2024. Latest news, regional. Human lives cut short as health system flatlines. Data released Wednesday by the Statistical Institute of Jamaica, Staten, showed that the Consumer Price Index increased by 0.8% during June, slowing from the 1.6% monthly increase recorded in May. Transport was the main contributor to the June movement, with the division's index rising 4.3% after route taxi and hackney carriage fares increased by 8%, effective June 2nd. The index for passenger transport by road consequently increased by 6.2%. Higher petrol prices also pushed the index for fuels and lubricants for personal transport equipment up 1.7% during the month. Over the 12 months to June, transport costs increased by 7.3%, while petrol-related costs were up 15.9%. Consumers also continued to face significantly higher food prices. The index for food and non-alcoholic beverages rose 0.7% in June and was 9.8% higher than a year earlier. By Bolo. Promoted links you may like. Join Silver Singles. Staten said the monthly increase was driven primarily by higher prices for carrots, cabbage, onions, and sweet peppers. The longer-term increases were more pronounced. Prices for fruits and nuts were 34.2% higher than in June 2025, while the index covering tubers, plantains, and cooking bananas increased by 38%.
What?
Fish and seafood prices rose 12.6%.
Bananas increased by 38%, plantains, tubers, 38%. Mighty God.
What can go so?
No, man.
12.6%, while meat prices increased by 6.1%. Housing costs also moved higher during June. The index for housing, water, electricity, gas, and other fuels rose 0.5%. Higher household rental costs and electricity charges.
What's up, Brianna?
The cost pressures were strongest in the Greater Kingston metropolitan area, where annual inflation reached 7.2% and food prices were 11.1% higher than a year earlier. Annual inflation stood at 6.8% in other urban centers and 6.2% in rural areas. Despite the acceleration in the annual rate, prices have increased by only 0.6% since December. The rise in point-to-point inflation partly reflects price increases recorded during the second half of 2025, as well as the removal of June 2025, when prices fell 0.3% from the annual comparison. The BOJ had warned in May that inflation could temporarily breach its target during the June and September quarters amid higher international fuel prices and transportation costs. The central bank maintained its policy rate at 5.5% in May, saying inflation should eventually return to target as geopolitical tensions and international energy prices moderate. It has, however, cautioned that a prolonged conflict, adverse weather, and stronger domestic spending could keep price pressures elevated.
Screws are being tightened, my people. That is a prophetic word. Jamaica under judgment. Who pays for the FSC? Let us see what's going on in the industry, ladies and gentlemen. Wow.
Home. News. Who pays for the FSC? Two stories examine rising industry fees, the $500 million transfer, and the unfinished rebuilding of financial regulation after SSL. More than 3 years after the Stocks and Securities Limited, SSL, scandal put Jamaica's financial oversight under international scrutiny. Records showed that the cost of supervising the securities industry was already more than twice the fees collected from the sector, even before the Financial Services Commission, FSC, added the next layer of costs for new technology, market conduct supervision, and consumer protection functions. The securities sector, where clients, including Sprint legend Usain Bolt, reported that millions of US dollars were missing from investment accounts, carried the largest identified regulatory funding gap. International news, latest news. The FSC projected that supervising the industry would cost $678.3 million in 2023-24, but that its existing fees would recover only $323.4 million, a shortfall of $354.9 million. Insurance supervision was also projected to cost more than the sector paid. The FSC estimated recoverable costs at $702.3 million against $523 million under the existing fee structure, leaving a further $179.4 million gap. Latest news. Those funding gaps emerged before the Commission fully accounted for the technology and institutional capacity needed for market conduct supervision, complaints resolution, and consumer protection under Jamaica's planned Twin Peaks structure. The findings from a Jamaica Observer examination of FSC consultation papers, annual reports, gazetted fee changes, and government public body estimates show that Jamaica is not...
My side, tap up the screen, man. Me have 60 odd people I watch on the TikTok. On the top of the screen, you see me I do a match. Come like you now watch what I go on.
The resulting question is not simply... It is trying to finance a much larger watchdog after a scandal that damaged confidence at home and carried the country's name into headlines around the world. International news, latest... The resulting question is not simply whether financial firms should pay more. It is what those higher fees will buy, whether they will produce measurable improvements in supervision, and how much of the bill will ultimately reach investors, policyholders, pension contributors, and businesses seeking capital. The FSC says the higher charges are not sudden levies imposed in response to SSL.
On my side, drop
In a
some gift
September
on them
2023 consultation paper sent to licensees and registrants, the Commission said its fee structure had not been revised since 2008, even as the cost and complexity of financial regulation continued to grow. The regulator also noted that it receives no funding from the government and finances its operations mainly through registration, renewal, and licensing fees paid by the entities it supervises. That funding model means the cost of regulation must be recovered largely from securities dealers, insurers, pension entities, issuers, fund managers, intermediaries, and other regulated firms. But the regulated entity receiving the bill is not necessarily the final payer.
No gift.
Firms may absorb some of the additional expense, but they may also recover it through higher account charges, management fees, insurance premiums, pension costs, commissions, product prices, or capital raising expenses. The FSC says its mandate and operating costs have expanded substantially since the existing fees were introduced. Its September 2023 consultation paper projected a total funding requirement of $2.095 billion for 2024-25. Within that, the annual funding requirement was projected to rise by $314.5 million, or 23.7%. The increase was attributed to new policy responsibilities, risk-based regulation, a larger staff complement, and investment in data analysis and technology. In a justification brief, the regulator said the fee adjustment was intended to achieve sustainable cost recovery rather than generate a surplus. It warned that an under-resourced regulator ultimately creates risks for the financial sector it is expected to protect. The Commission's remit now extends beyond securities, insurance, and private pensions to new types of regulated entities, while requiring greater capacity in market conduct, cross-border supervision, cyber risk, emerging technology, and increasingly complex financial products. Private pensions were the exception to the funding shortfalls identified in securities and insurance. The FSC estimated that pension fees would exceed the projected cost of regulating that sector by approximately $117 million. That uneven picture raises another question: whether each industry is being asked to carry its proper share of the regulatory burden, or whether some sectors are being charged more than their supervision costs, while others remain below full recovery. The Financial Services Commission offices in Kingston. The regulator says higher fees are needed to help fund stronger supervision, new technology, and expanded consumer protection functions after the 2023 SSL scandal. Fees begin to climb. The issue is coming to a head as revised charges take effect across regulated industries, and the latest government estimates show the FSC expecting hundreds of millions of dollars more in fee income while continuing to record deficits. Gazetted amendments to the securities regulations in 2025 changed the annual fee for a securities dealer to the greater of $1.5 million, or 3 basis points of its total assets. The amendments also introduced an $800,000 fee for filing a takeover bid circular, another $800,000 fee for a director's circular, and a $200,000 charge for amended filings. Insurers have also publicly challenged the revised fee structure, warning that sharp increases in regulatory costs could eventually be passed on to policyholders. Government estimates show the scale of the addition.
Isn't this what? What's up, Joanne? How you doing, my darling? Good to see you. Isn't this what the People's National Party was warning about? Isn't this what they were warning about? Lord have mercy.
Additional fee income the FSC now expects. Securities fees are projected to climb from $472.42 million in 2025-26 to $977.96 million in 2026-27, an increase of more than $505 million in a single year. Insurance fees are projected to rise from $534.74 million to $836.01 million over the same period, while pension fee income is also expected to increase. The estimates also introduce projected revenue from virtual asset service providers. The FSC's 2023 consultation projected securities fee revenue of $1.032 billion for 2024-25. Later government estimates put securities fee income at $472.42 million for 2025-26 and $977.96 million for 2026-27. Because the figures relate to different years and may reflect different implementation and accounting assumptions, the published records do not permit a direct comparison. They nevertheless show that securities fee income is expected to rise substantially as the FSC attempts to improve cost recovery. The increases would significantly raise the amount recovered from the securities and insurance sectors. But because the FSC's own costs are also rising, the published projections do not establish whether the new fees will fully cover the current cost of supervising those industries. By Bolo. Promoted links you make. What they do show is that the changes are not modest adjustments. They represent a fundamental resetting of what financial regulation will cost. Deficits persist. The projected rise in fee income is expected to help narrow the FSC's deficits, but not immediately eliminate them. The 2026-27 public bodies estimates show that the Commission's 2024-25 financial outturn was worse than earlier projections.
Wow.
Revenue stood at $1.77 billion, while expenses reached $2.27 billion, producing a net
What can go so?
net deficit of $502. The 2026-27 public bodies estimates show that the Commission's 2024-25 financial outturn was worse than earlier projections. Revenue stood at $1.77 billion, while expenses reached $2.27 billion, producing a net deficit of $502.36 million. Salaries and related expenses were the FSC's largest cost. The public bodies estimates show the line item rising from $1.25 billion in 2023-24 to $1.76 billion in 2024-25, an increase of approximately $506 million, or 40.5%. It is estimated at $1.8 billion in 2025-26 and projected to reach $2 billion in 2026-27. The latest estimates also project the FSC's staff complement increasing from 170 in 2025-26 to 176 in 2026-27. Over the same period, salaries and related expenses are expected to rise by approximately $200 million, or 11.1%. The records reviewed by the Business Observer do not show how much of that increase reflects the 6 additional posts and how much relates to compensation adjustments, specialist recruitment, benefits, secondments, statutory employment costs, or organizational changes made after SSL, if any. The Commission's net deficit is estimated to have declined from $502.36 million in 2024-25 to $407.29 million in 2025-26, and is projected to narrow further to $186.24 million in 2026-27. For 2026-27, the regulator expects revenue of $2.76 billion against expenses of $2.95 billion.
Wow.
Investment income is projected to fall from $177.46 million in 2024-25 to $96.01 million in 2025-26 and $81.8 million in 2026-27. Making the Commission increasingly dependent on fees paid by the industries it regulates. The figures lend support to the FSC's argument that its previous revenues were no longer sufficient to cover its operating costs. The figures lend support to the FSC's argument that its previous revenues were no longer sufficient to cover its operating costs. But the persistent deficits, growth in salary-related expenses, and sharp increase in projected fee income also make greater disclosure necessary. The records also do not provide a public breakdown showing how the additional fee income will be allocated across staffing, examinations, enforcement, technology, market conduct, complaints resolution, and consumer protection. Without that information, regulated firms can see how much more they are expected to pay, but not precisely how the additional money will be spent or which parts of the promised reform it will finance. The $500 million question. The funding debate is further complicated by a $500 million transfer from the FSC to the government at a time when the regulator says fees from securities and insurance were not covering the stated cost of supervision. The amount appeared in the public body's estimates as part of the FSC's estimated 2024-25 outturn under transfers to government dividend. The FSC has said the money came from retained earnings accumulated from surpluses in previous years. Finance Minister Faye Williams has defended the transfer, saying the FSC and the Ministry of Finance reached a joint understanding after reviewing the regulator's balance sheet and projected financing requirements. She said the payment would not compromise the FSC's viability and that the government had given the Commission a written commitment to provide financial support if it later required assistance. The opposition has challenged that explanation, arguing that the withdrawal is difficult to reconcile with the FSC's deficits and its attempt to collect more money from regulated firms. The records reviewed by the Business Observer do not establish that the transfer caused the FSC's deficits or that retaining the $500 million would have removed the need for higher fees. But the payment remains relevant because it was made while the regulator was recovering less than the stated cost of supervising securities and insurance and preparing to finance a more expensive regulatory mandate. FSC annual reports describe the Commission as a not-for-profit organization that does not pay dividends, while also stating that it is required to transfer between 5 and 10% of any surplus to the consolidated fund. That leaves an important distinction unresolved publicly, whether the $500 million represented an ordinary statutory transfer of surplus, a distribution of accumulated reserves, or a special payment agreed with the government, and whether retaining any portion of it could have reduced the amount now being sought from regulated industries. The issue is not whether the transfer by itself created the FSC's funding problem. The unresolved question is whether moving $500 million from a cost recovery regulator was consistent with the needs of an agency undertaking a costly overhaul of supervision after one of the most damaging securities scandals in Jamaica's recent history. After SSL, the case for adequately funding Jamaica's financial watchdog is difficult to dispute. The test is whether the new bill is being clearly explained, fairly allocated, and imposed with enough transparency for firms and their customers to understand precisely what they are financing. Zero comments make a...
Jamaica. Mighty God.
Ball out! Whoa! We need help, Jesus. Jamaica need help. Shift the parliament. Shift the election. Shift everything. Remove them out there. Take out the cockroach. Take out the thief. Take out the criminal them. Take out the thieves them. Take out the murderer them. Take out the gang leader them. Out of parliament. Take them out from Portland. Take them out. I hear Portland. Me I go to Portland. Why me I travel to Portland? Take out somebody, man or woman.
The purpose of the Financial Services Commission in Jamaica is to protect consumers of non-deposit taking financial services by supervising and regulating the security, insurance, and private pension industry. That is the mandate of them. Established in 2001 under the Finance Service Commission Act, the FSC acts as an integrity financial sector regulator. You them talk about SSL how much time in this particular article. Protecting consumers, safeguarding the interests of policyholders, investors, and pension plan membership. License and registration, approving unlicensed entities and individuals, including security dealers, insurance brokers, mutual funds, and pension administration. Monitoring solvency, ensuring that regulated firms maintain enough capital and financial health and meet their obligation. Enforcing compliance, conducting root examination and company records, investigation, compliance, and penalizing rule violations. Now, ladies and gentlemen, they are taking 500 million from this entity. All right, based on what we just listened to a while ago, they are going through it financially. The projections in terms of revenue base versus expenditure, you know, they're adding staff. I just explained to you the function of the FSC. As it says at the end there in a conclusion, the issue is not whether the transfer by itself created the FSC funding problem. The fact is that they have a funding problem. Ryan Campbell, how you doing? So why would you go to an entity to take money from them that has a funding problem? It tells me that the government is desperate. And added, they're desperate, ladies and gentlemen. Added to the inflation that's going on, added to the lack of tax collection from everywhere, 22 billion fall short. Yeah, them fall short $22 billion. Jamaica, when you are a prudent and effective economist, even in your own personal life, when you don't dip into your savings, when you don't use one business to hold up the next business, you let all business stand on their own and they grow on their own. That's when you know that you are financially prudent. That's when you know that you are strong financially. I don't know if you guys realize it, but what Rastan Hyman and Colin Bell has been saying about the economy, they have been on point the entire time. And the People's National Party has been warning us. This is a problem, ladies and gentlemen. So not only is the government of Jamaica weakening the Integrity Commission by multiple members and public officials taking them to court, right? They have been complaining even about pay. Yes, low pay hurting the IC. Right? Let's read this article to cap it off. The effectiveness of these bodies are important. And like I said before, just like how the government officials them say, them forget the top money so we can retain the top talent. But the top talent that we have don't know how to grow the economy. How embarrassing. How embarrassing.
Embarrassing. We need some milk.
The Integrity Commission, IC, says it is facing an uphill battle to attract qualified professionals, with Executive Director Craig Beresford warning that the entity is struggling to compete for technical talent under the current public compensation structure. It is an issue the Commission is hoping will be addressed quickly by the Finance Ministry. Beresford, speaking Tuesday during a press conference to discuss the IC's annual report, said while salary concerns remain the primary reason employees leave the anti-corruption agency, the current compensation structure has made it increasingly difficult to compete with other public sector organizations for specialized talent.
So, ladies and gentlemen, this is another way to cripple the Integrity Commission. You think that this government that is run by Andrew Holness is going to fix this problem for the Integrity Commission? No. The Integrity Commission is facing an uphill battle. And we have to support them at least morally. We have to give them moral support, ladies and gentlemen. Pray for the Integrity Commission. Pray that God put him wind beneath their wings. And let them do the impossible because they are up against incredible odds. Let's continue.
Talent. As it concerns the issue of compensation, we have engaged the Ministry of Finance, and we have not yet received a response. I am still optimistic that we may, at some point. I have raised it at all of our stakeholder meetings in terms of the challenge, Beresford said.
Mr. Beresford, I see that you're a man of faith. But let me tell you something. Have faith in God, not the finance minister or the Jamaica Labour Party. I just want to make you know. You hear what the man said, Jamaica? The man put it out there and all. Now they don't receive a response. They man under pressure. But you think they might get to pay on more money? They're only interested in pay themselves more money. They don't pay on no more money, brother.
Said, editorial. Venezuela's. His comments come against the backdrop of mounting staffing challenges at the Commission, which reported a 19% turnover rate among fixed-term employees during the 2025-26 financial year. According to the agency's annual report, it recruited 39 employees during the period, but lost 29, with the continued departure of trained personnel increasing recruitment costs, training expenses, and the time required to build institutional capacity. Cricket Sports. Burger Paints need. The report also notes that the organization remains only about 80% staffed, despite efforts to fill critical positions, while acknowledging that migration and other personal factors also contribute to staff departures. Beresford said exit interviews consistently point to compensation as the dominant concern. The issue of staffing is quite complex, and if you analyze it, we have found that in our exit interviews, a majority of the persons, maybe up to 90%, say it's because of compensation, but it's not only compensation. Some are migrating, yes, they're leaving, and there are others who may have other issues, he said. He argued that changes introduced under the government's public sector compensation restructuring have weakened the Commission's ability to attract experienced professionals, particularly in technical fields where similar positions are available elsewhere in the public service, without the unique pressures associated with anti-corruption work.
This is what happens when you have the head of the stream being the most corrupt. The Integrity Commission, my God, and people they are cost them. The man them work at 80% capacity, 39 staff come and then they left. And I don't think the attack on the Integrity Commission from the government officials is helping either. I don't think that's helping. I think it's worsening the situation.
Work. We have found that in some instances that persons who were at a certain level have found themselves less off than they were before. We were always a little higher given the nature of the functions of the Commission and given the complexities with respect to our mandate. We appreciate that the purpose of that restructuring exercise was to just bring everything on the same level, but it has harmed us somewhat. We have found that especially our technical persons, they are at a lower level than they were before, said Beresford. He argued that the IC's work requires highly trained professionals who often have employment options elsewhere in the public service, making recruitment increasingly difficult when the risks associated with working at the IC are taken into account. Step back and look at it. If
only hear that? The risks associated with working with the IC. They can be targeted, ladies and gentlemen, because of the nature of their job. So you don't think these people would want to get that's like a police officer or a detective, somebody at high rank. If you are giving them one flimsy money, how them are going to be able to maneuver in that space and terrain? No, you have to pay them well because of the nature of their job. So them can protect themselves and their family. It is what it is.
If someone is applying for a job within the Commission and they can go to any other public service at the same level, why would you want to work at the Commission when you have all that risk and the social media abuse to contend with? You have to walk and look behind your back, and that is a problem. That is a challenge for us at the Commission, he explained.
So the Jamaica Labour Party, Everal Warmington, Delroy Chuck, Pernell Charles Jr., Andrew Ones, Andrew Wheatley, Xavier Main, all I know we are challenging Integrity Commission and I put out statements out there. Ocean-wide, you guys have put a target on these people back. Every challenge want to challenge the IC. And every statement you want to make you look like say, oh, you are being targeted and somebody are trying to take you down. We hear these statements about, oh, they are trying to take down the Jamaica Labour Party. All of you are responsible. Indirectly and directly. Every last one on it. I mean, I make sure so I don't rejoice when God judge you. Because I don't want to take off none of the blurt, not judgment. I shall stay still. I don't want God listening judgment, pound, man. You know, wicked.
Explained. Beresford said the agency intends to continue engaging.
Sorry.
Why would you want to work at the commission when you have all that risk and the social media abuse to contend with? You have to walk and look behind your back, and that is a problem. That is a challenge for us at the commission, he explained. Beresford said the agency intends to continue engaging the Ministry of Finance to secure assistance in resolving the compensation challenges affecting the commission. The annual report similarly points to compensation as one of the principal obstacles to retaining experienced employees, stating that limitations within the approved salary scales have affected the Commission's ability to compete effectively for highly skilled and specialized professionals in an increasingly competitive labor market. It warns that the resulting vacancies affected the organization's capacity to fully staff critical positions and maximize operational efficiency. The report also notes that the Commission invested approximately $16.8 million in training and professional development during the financial year, but says the continued loss of trained employees means the organization must repeatedly incur the costs of recruiting, onboarding, and preparing replacements.
An entity like this needs stability, ladies and gentlemen. That's the end of the article. An entity like that needs stability, period. And a lack of stability does not bode well at all. Let me know what y'all think in the comment section, man. This was a fulsome reaction with multiple articles based off inflation, the FSC, the Integrity Commission, you know, the lack of enough support, tangible support from the government. The government is not supporting the IC 100%. As a matter of fact, there's more opposition to the IC more than anything else, based off statements that have been made. Absolute disgrace. And they talk about that they you know, somehow they want to make change and they want things to change and they want to fight corruption. Rubbish. They are the catalyst for corruption. The Jamaica Labour Party. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Moving right along, ladies and gentlemen. Moving right along. Where should they? See her, yeah? Dana Morris Dixon. So I'll go on with that article.
Public schools to get additional $757 million for 2026-27 academic year. Public schools across Jamaica will receive an additional $757.5 million in funding for the upcoming 2026-27 academic year. The disclosure was made by Minister of Education, Skills, Youth and Information Dr. Dana Morris Dixon during Wednesday's post-cabinet press briefing at Jamaica House. Business. 5 overlooked steps that can make hurricane recovery easier. July 15th, 2026. On average, every public school is getting 55% more funding from the Ministry of Education. That's a significant increase, and you'll see the increase is actually higher for primary schools and special needs institutions, she said. Morris Dixon explained that the ministry consolidated the existing grants into an operational grant and then added the increase. Latest news. Public school. Todd's calls for urgent review of Road Traffic Act urges operators to contest tickets in court. Kingston, Jamaica. The Transport Operators Development Sustainable Service, TODSS, is calling for an immediate review of the Road Traffic and Transport Authority Act, arguing that key provisions of the legislation are unfairly affecting public transport operators and threatening the viability of the sector. The organization is also urging transport operators to boycott all planned traffic ticket days and instead utilize the courts to clear up outstanding traffic tickets until a comprehensive review of the legislation is undertaken. Latest news. Not a new idea. In a statement issued Wednesday, TDSS said the current legislative framework is doing more harm than good to the public transportation sector.
Absolutely.
Todd's argued that the existence of two separate pieces of legislation governing public transportation has created an unjust system that is undermining the industry. News. Education.
Wait, what? She's dissatisfied with the pace of repairs to Melissa Damage schools. The education minister, they don't overfought that. No fear government. Of course, me frightened, so you know what? Let me copy this. Let me duplicate this. No, the government they just need to go in Jamaica. Oh, no. No, they just need to go away. They need to go, man. They need to go away. Where the hell can go, so? Go back to this article here, man, because I think God have done here.
While acknowledging that the demerit point system was introduced with the intention of removing dangerous drivers from the nation's roads, TDSS maintained that the current application of the system requires. The group contended that the laws are working to demolish the sector and to turn the over 40,000 workers in the sector into hardened criminals.
Exactly.
While acknowledging that the demerit point system was introduced with the intention of removing dangerous drivers from the nation's roads, TDSS maintained that the current application of the system requires urgent review. Describing the existing demerit point regime as a weapon of mass destruction against public transport operators, the organization argued that many drivers are accumulating points for non-moving offenses rather than dangerous driving.
Exactly.
Majority of tickets received by transport operators are for
Jamaica, you can't have to move for your lose points. You don't have to move a car for your lose points. True story.
Non-movable offenses, which means that the operator gets the ticket for stopping at the wrong place. But is there a right place to stop? Especially in the KMTR, Kingston Metropolitan Transport Region, it said. Todd stressed that despite the good intentions of the demerit point system, which works to weed out dangerous drivers, the present points application system must be reviewed. If the present system and act remain as is, come October 1st, 2026, the transport sector will see a loss of over 8,000 workers in 3 months, the organization added.
So Jamaica, that is from 40,000. That is almost a quarter. That is almost a quarter of the drivers gone because of this particular act. Massive damage, and that is not 3 months span. Imagine what they can do in a year. And then you'll see the new private transport system roll out, where you have to have the needs to make sure say you don't have no money on a digital alone and you pay your money and go in there. They want to remove, I'm telling you, they want to remove all of you off the road. Every last one of you. That is the intention. And the man I got talk about it too. So you can't stay there. How 8,000 person, you know how much family them have feed? That's 8,000 families. The man make the money in a hardened criminals, ladies and gentlemen. for non-movable offenses, stopping the wrong place, suspending the people, making them, it is a weapon of mass destruction against local public transportation. You remember when Daryl Vaz said when you park on the car? Well, them make sure so you park on the car. Why are you guys moving around so much? Using up all this fuel. Then them have them cheap bus system and transportation system. Take up all of the route them and you not gonna have no way to make no money. We're not gonna find the next way to make some money now. But you can't stay there now. Go and talk about 1 p.m. All them nonsense there 4 term. Go and suffer now on the blurt now. Because you're not gonna wait till they reach you before you listen. You know. So no, continue. Continue, man. And that's why enough comrades are sorry for and enough people are sorry for. Because you know, go on with yourself. And in a people comment section and people are trying to wake you up and box you make you wake up because you sleep dead. And have the man them are rob on the blind and are thrown in a prison cell. With all of these laws that them are implement. You know how long after I press a one, you know? You know how long after I press a one, you know, about the lie where Andrew when they sit down pan and enact them but them dep on the books. You remember the car seat? Those were the first waves of attack. Those were the first waves. Only their bus system, with them public and private partnership connection with, when them can make money off of directly and indirectly, will survive if they are Kerry Spence big up. If they are allowed to continue the way they're going. But hey, the pastor tell you already lock down the blurt north country, nobody no move. Lock down the country, Jamaica. You don't have to go out there go burn no tire and block no road. Lock down the country. Nobody no move. Nobody no go to school. Nobody no go to work. Nobody no move. No make no MP and no council telling us about, yeah man, go work. Nobody no move. I write down on the list of demands. This is a can need for dash now. Repeal this. Never to return. The teacher them forget them pay. The nurse them forget them pay. Agriculture, we want to see. We need to see an overhaul. The FLA, every single problem in Jamaica. Make some demands of immediate changes, ladies and gentlemen. Executive changes. Straight across the board. When you get involved in the politics, understand where the money do affect all of us. Whether you believe it or not. Can they chat about 1 p.m. and see money suffer and drain the country energy. The man borrow money from everywhere for put hold up the economy. And it still can't hold up. What go on, mama son? It still cannot hold up. The economy is on this. I saw the economy stay deep dive in a blurt not pit of hell. Everything then touch Jamaica a poison. God is not with them. I don't think so. Listen not yet. More is yet to come. No matter what they do, they are gonna face turmoil and problem. And it not gonna affect just this generation now. The generations to come is gonna be affected. So all them pity them when I born it and your grand pity them when I born it. I'll be a judgment upon them. Because of what the nasty evil things they have just. No, make it China they open. Wanna stop, listen. I'm telling you this, man. Jamaica, wanna not serious, you know? Wanna not serious. Because you know united. Look upon the philosophies and opinions of Marcus Garvey. You know want to raise generational wealth? It takes discipline and unity. Discipline and unity. If you don't want, you can have be a black supermarket in Jamaica all over island. Chain of them. If you don't unite. What? You don't have family with a farmer? All of the family they want to have with a farmer. Work with the network. Work with the network. So all of the place them where the food them a go, I come from our family member them all over Jamaica. It's called unity. When you talk about trade, when you talk about agreement, understand say alright, we're gonna need mass production. You see a youth like what's his name again? Andre Harton. Andre Harton, a Dr. Dayton Campbell, right, can come together with some others. What do you mean now go work? What is wrong with you? Want to move, man? And that's a problem with we, you know. We always think on the negative, we can't even open our mind to the possibilities them. So if you don't open your mind to the possibilities them, it could never work. The man Marcus Garvey tell you, if you are defeated mentally, you are twice defeated in the race of life. Right? I am talking about changing your mindset from being a worker to an owner. Own. The same place where you go buy your food, you actually have shares in it. Look how the ants them operate Jamaica. Look how the ants them operate. One ant's not really significant, you know. But 100 ants, 200 ants, 1,000 ants. Everybody I do partner draw and I do no partner draw. Why don't do a partner draw for ownership? Me been a going to the idea, yeah. And Marcus Garvey inspired this idea. The same thing when do for build the empire before them tear it down with lies. And pin things upon him and make him look like him a one criminal. The CIA and the FBI in America. If you don't change your mindset, you can't change your situation. We are stronger together. We are more than they are, that the Bible said. There's more of us than there is of them. If we don't put the money together in a way, and I'm talking about legally as well, ladies and gentlemen. I talk about a partner draw where any amount of, like, if you can afford to put on $1,000 every week. I'm just negative. I can't deal with any background, you know. Stop commenting on me and say if you can't see bigger picture, man. Right? We can go around all of that by dishonest people. We can go around all of that by structuring anything the right way, through the finances, through the bank and everything. May I tell you, from the money I go straight to the bank, understanding what this account is about. This is a business account to acquire asset and property. Right? If you have 20,000 people who decide that they're serious and say, here we are going. You see that 20,000 family here? We have a long-term plan to come out of poverty. So with grandchildren, with children and with grandchildren, them, I go continue the plan. And these are working people. Whether you farm, no matter what you do. Unity is strength, ladies and gentlemen. If 20,000 persons save $1,000 a week, how much money that? In this business account, how much money that? And you can't get financial advice on how to structure it where all I own the asset, you know. No one person own the asset, and the asset cannot be sold. It's about asset building. It's not about selling the asset. We don't have the intention to sell nothing. Only expansion. 15-year plan, 20-year plan, long term. What's up, the Ticums? $1,000 a week between 20,000 persons. How much money that? I don't see do no maths yet. Nobody now do maths. What maths said then there? $1,000 a week, 20,000 persons. $1,000 can't even buy one box food in some place. $1,000 a week, Jamaica. Let me do the maths. 20,000 persons. 20,000 people are serious. You live your life, you know, you do everything what you do, you know. But you sacrifice $1,000 a week. $4,000 a month to a cause of a 15-year plan. 20,000 times 1,000, how much? Just want to show you something. We just want to open the mind to your possibilities. Because that's all it takes. That's $20 million. In a 1 week. That is $20 million in 1 week. What them a talk about me not follow community? What them a talk about me not follow community guidelines? Notice this life did not follow community guidelines. What? Please restart your life. Come over TikTok, yeah, man. People don't come over to YouTube. We can't do this. I mean, I start back with TikTok live. Notice. What am I talk about? What me do in my life? Almost somebody, some E that I put out something like them at TikTok. But restart live. I must want to live right. I'm trying to distract me. Big up yourself, Joanne. Word is love. Nobody now report nothing, man. And some E that I come. See? $20 million in a week, ladies and gentlemen. 20,000 Jamaicans of like minds putting their money where their mouth is would acquire $20 million in 1 week. How much that for a month? $80 million. $80 million for 1 month. Me could do the maths again. Times that by 4 and then times it by 12. In 1 year, 20,000 persons in Jamaica can come up with $960 million by sacrificing $1,000 a week. Jesus have mercy. How much I want to go party go dash your money for NEC? And dash your money for Remy Martin. And dash your money for Jerry and nephew. And Appleton. How much I want to do that? Singularly. How much I do that? Jamaica, we are our own worst enemies. Because we don't unite with each other. We are our own worst enemies. All of these people that you see are called elites that have great power. You know what they do? Unite for evil cause. When are you going to unite for your own liberation? When are you going to unite for your own liberation? More than 20,000 Jamaican people are suffering right now. And I'm saying, if you can afford to save $1,000 a week, $4,000 a month, collectively, you would come up with $960 million. Almost, that's almost $1 billion. That's almost $1 billion in a 1 year, you know? 940 million short of $1 billion. $1,000 a week between 20,000 people. 20,000 well-thinking Jamaicans that want better for their children for generations to come. Jamaica, a 15-year plan. How much money that? That is close to what, $13 billion? No, you're going to use economical smarts to acquire these assets. You're not going to spend your own money. You have $960 million in a bank collectively. So you get the right proper advice financially. Target specific projects that will increase your revenue collectively. 900, you know how much money you can borrow from the bank when you have $960 million? Sit down. Invest now. Getting some acres of land. Whoever is in the 20,000 where can farm, you can directly work. Because all of the assets and the money they will come back to you anyway. Right? Every business standing on its own. Right? The money coming back to you and circulate within the same 20,000 people. The farm sustaining you. Say you need supermarkets. You definitely need supermarkets. You definitely need market. You probably can own your own market where people can come and get food at a cheaper cost. Hello, somebody. Small profit and massive sale. Small profit. You can't lose. You yourself is going to patronize your own business within the 20,000 because the money will come right back to you anyway. Wherever profit lies, the possibility. I 1 year, I say in Jamaica, I remember you're going to continue to save what? $1,000 in it. So now you're going to have an next $960 million in the next year while acquiring assets and making more money. We are our own worst enemies. All we have to do is unite and they cannot hold us down. The government cannot abuse us. Unu wake up. Wake up. Unu have, some of our family members and unu family are big. Unu take just the greed and the sin are always the problem, you know. The greed and the selfishness I want show off by somebody else. Say me own it. What about we owning it? What about we owning it? Marcus Garvey already gave us the blueprint, ladies and gentlemen. This man had shipping lines, oh my God. This man had ships ready to go across the ocean. And the powers that be said, man, we cannot allow this black man to unite these black people. And have this type of power. Have ships going across the ocean. At that stage, you know, if he was left alone to his own vices, with building a nation of black people united like that, you know how far he would be in 2026? You know where Jamaica would be in 2026? With a Marcus Garvey, Jamaica would have been the biggest thing on the map, but the smallest. Through unification. And you know, you guys missed the ball, you know. All of you 50% of you will never vote. 60% will never vote. You know, missed the ball, you know. Because I said on my platform when I just came on this, I said, if you guys don't have any faith in either government, put your money behind the UIC. Big up yourself, Devon. Put your money behind the UIC. Oh, and I also said that if you don't want to be behind the UIC, start your own party. Get yourself together. Organize. Organize. Andrea, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. Yo, let me tell you something, man. And you know, have to be 20,000 people, you know, we can start on a small scale, you know. But just try to show you how big the thing can be. It's not about making an immediate profit to full up your pocket, you know. It's about taking your time, take your hand out of the lion's mouth of poverty. And by the time your children are grown, oh my God, if they follow, well, they wouldn't have a choice but follow those same principles, because you would have to structure it in such a way that anybody that is on board that is going to benefit from that, you have to put in $1,000 a week. You have to. You listen, as a community that does that, you cannot go hungry, because you're using $1,000 a week to make sure, say, food, clothing, and shelter is secured. We could talk about a massive expansion of buying land and building apartments economically, so everybody can have them own a house and we can rent some and earn money from it. Hello, somebody. Hello. The people that winning 20,000 that are people that are of certain skill set. You'd be building a dynasty, Devon, of course. You'd be building a dynasty. Think about how many years you have spent of your life. Some of you, if you're over 20 years old, over 30 years old, and you're living a street life, how much money you have wasted in the streets? Flossing. Dashing away your money for alcohol and women. And the ladies, them will dash their money for hair and all type of something. Hello, somebody. This a Brazilian and that the Italian. Hello, somebody. Fake nails. Me know this a touch somebody right now. Think about that. Think about you doing that for 30 years, 20 years, wasting your money. And imagine if you had decided to unite with others that was wasting their money, and you guys put $1,000 a week into this effort that I'm speaking about. And you can do whatever you want in terms of the direction where you want in the business to go, you know. The businesses and the assets to go, you know. What you want to target, you know. Thank you so much, Tickums. Unity. This is why I respect the People's National Party, you know. Because in some ways, them get it, you know. Them get them philosophy there, you know. Them get it. They understand. And that's why they came up with the NHT. They understood the partner draw effect. It's just that there needs to be an evolution for it to be maximized, because it's being abused. Jamaica, I'm telling you, I'm not ask Christ, when you have $960 million sitting at the bank for the first year, right? For the first year, and you step to the bank and say, hello, listen, based off our capital, you know, we need a extensive loan for expansion of businesses. Here's our business plan. You think your bank can tell you no? Tell you no what? At that bank where you can money is strong in the bank, so your bank can use the money to make more money. While you're using them to make more money. Why put in more money in the bank? You would be the bank's best customer, VIP, as a group, a joint group account, business account. No, I'm just saying there's a lot of things that we waste money on. And if we had put those monies into a united effort, even people when I get to me and talk to me right now, I'm talking to you and I'm not encouraging anybody to become a scammer. But why are you still scamming? You come up and get millions of dollars and you're throwing away money and burning it. Repent, man. Repent. Because you don't really want to build no phone. You can't really build things for that. The money needs to be honest money. when you go do the right thing. But all the pound where they in this scamming thing, you're not smart. You're not think about ownership. And going clean. Sassy, that show say she all natural over here and Joanne Frey. Big up me all natural ladies them, I love you know. Me fully endorse all natural ladies. I love ladies overall in about. Me fully endorse all natural ladies them. The interest on your money in the bank, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not a financial guru, but I'm telling you, just think about $960 million of collective effort in 1 year. You have to have vision. $20 million in a week. Oh, I'm tuna man. Oh, I'm tuna man. You see where hydro farming I go. You can get a small space and the amount of production you can do in a farming. Oh God. There is a huge market in farming in Jamaica for exports. Huge. You see cold storage facility them where such man have. James Robertson. You just know so in Africa have them that to set up on a thing. Organize. Oh my God. So you produce them, can't spoil your lesson, what you call it now? Shortfall and thank your tickums. Your lesson shortfall and all them things there. I want to know man. Let me tell you something. You see the church? If the church them did united, it's something that they could do easier than anybody else. Just because of the amount of people them having a them congregation collectively. All the churches, if they were doing the right thing under God, they should own farms all over. Nobody in the congregation not supposed to hungry. Hello, somebody? Let me talk to the church them about the idea you know. All the righteous men and women that have congregation, nobody in your churches should be hungry. If you enter into this thing and start to farm, you're going to have surplus. Me not ask Christ because God is behind it. So feeding your congregation with natural food, organic natural food, plus exporting all around the world, the revenue potential would be insane. It would be insane. In times of need, when you have a situation like the hurricane, they wouldn't even have to look to the government for the money. I bank you go to and say, here we go on. We need a loan, you know? Because we have money in there, you know? And we have to take time pay on the back. We have to build back the church. We don't need nobody for going to nothing. Self-reliance, ladies and gentlemen. Self-reliance. And the rest of them, who do I deal with? Who do really I deal with? Who not follow Marcus Garvey? Who not supposed to take over Jamaica already, you know? And I own everything, you know? Who do really I deal with? The philosophies are not, why who not united in these types of efforts? Who not supposed to entrench that farming based off on the culture? And then the maroon them. Hey, you see how the maroon them we have fight them on it. When I eat that. Before you don't know on the slump pan. Someone who want to sell out. All enough to do come together as maroon. want to the man. The tourists, oh God, the tourist potential. Maroon. We're supposed to be king in Jamaica with the land them own have. Kings. Not one king, kings. Everybody's supposed to walk with a ear of, you know, stature. With the lands them own have. I'm telling you, man. Unity Jamaica. Financial unity. Group economics. And this way, you'd be able to take care of your elders better in a community. It's a long-term plan of wealth and asset building. You know, if you worry about say, you know, your elders them there and them, you know, you can't find proper food for them already. We can get into clothes making. Can we start by making our own underwears? We need an underwear line in Jamaica for the ladies them and the man them. We need an underwear line. So from farming to clothing, food, clothing and shelter, ladies and gentlemen, those have to be secured. Real estate, farming, branding. The food, the shelter, the water. That's our next thing too. Water. Buying lands that have water running through it, ladies and gentlemen. Invaluable. Engineering, building wells. I'm doing the man. I'm doing the man. Me and the sharpest pencil in my blouse and skirt Latin. But me I'm telling you, you know, you're supposed to can see the idea. We're supposed to have some other ideas that pop out, but now no mind right now based off what me I say. And that's how it works. You first have to see the vision, the possibility through unity. How you think kingdoms fell? And the smaller people them unite. Because we have a few people that is holding down the masses. It's a mental psychosis that emancipate yourself from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our minds. Have no fear for atomic energy because none of them can stop the time. How long shall they kill our prophets while we stand aside and look? Some say it's just a part of it. We've got to fulfill the book. Won't you help me sing? These songs of freedom. All I ever ask, redemption songs. Jamaica, wake up the man. Wake up the man. Unity. Once you have unity, you eradicate poverty. The reason why we're poor in Jamaica is because we're not united. Why do you think Cuba survived so long? Unity. All of them attack. Unity. One order. Everybody pitching in. May I tell you? That's why they could afford to give them a lot of things free. Because of unity. Jamaica again. Study the ants. Study the ants. One purpose. Born again, oh Lord, big up. Nick, how you doing, my baby? And let us talk about a smaller number of people. Say, for instance, 1,000 people decided that, yo, you know, so we're going to do this. We're going to do this now. How you doing, all the family? Also, when I go through one good time, you know. My prayers go to your family, you understand? Also, when I go through one hard time right now. 1,000 people, ladies and gentlemen. Let's carry down the number. 1,000 people, $1,000. 1 million. 1,000 people come together, put $1,000. $1 million for the week. $4 million for the month. Times 12, $48 million for the year. 48, what's up, Vernon? $48 million for the year. Jamaica, what we can do with $48 million? Business-wise. A 1,000 people putting $1,000 together every week. 40, and the reason why I'm putting it so small is to not strain anybody. Once you're working, you can sacrifice $1,000 a week. And then collectively, it increases the value well easy. And if what's up, Purple Butterfly, I want you guys to manifest the idea if it's even in one small way. 50 I want to come together and say, here we go on. We are going to do this. You don't have to do $1,000, just an idea, whatever you can afford. When you not going to miss the money. But you have to structure it the right way. You have to structure it the right way, Jamaica. So nobody cannot, there can't be no up over, you know, nobody have violate the agreement. It has to be, you understand? Legally binding. This is not a money where I go take back. No. It's not going to be a money you're going to take back. This is a lifetime commitment. So it will go through generation. The people them in their family, we all come on board, same thing for them. Sign the agreement, it goes through generations. Generations. This is what the elite do. This is what the elite do, you know. This is what they do. And I'm saying we can do it at the bare minimum where we never have to ask anybody for anything and beg for bread. Don't have to do it. All you guys have to do is unite. $48 million between 1,000 people. Me know say me have more than 2,000 people in my comment section and in my chat. You know that? Sure. 100% sure know that. Easy. But we need 1,000 willing participants. And we need things to be drafted where persons can be confident that this is no scam. Legally binding agreement, business account, Celine, what's up? Business account, right? And the aim is acquiring assets for generational wealth to make sure that we secure food, clothing, and shelter. Building communities all around Jamaica. Building businesses, chain of businesses all around Jamaica. Jamaica farming is a must. You see another thing too? Medicine. Herbal medicine. Golden. People in the group have the understanding of that. That is a whole nother niche. It depends on the group. Suppose you want to go in a ganja medicinal marijuana. Hello, somebody? Hello, somebody? That is another. You understand? The possibilities are endless. It depends on the direction where you want to go. It takes some thought. But meanwhile, you're not think about it. You can go and save the $1,000 a week. In one consolidated business account that everybody's name is attached to. Through an entity or something. There's some legal way to do it. I don't have all the answers. I know that the sealer, there's some legal way to do it. Where nobody is left, is cut off. I mean, we can, if you want to explore tourism, we can get, you know how much people create tourism attractions from little and nothing, using some little idea in a cost and only for money, using them creativity. And if you have a network of people of 20,000, that's a network of advertising the own business. Come on, man. Even going to your own attractions and enjoying it, bringing friends. Oh my God, Jamaica. I don't know what show, I don't know what come over me, but I never planned on talking about this. It's like I'm being led to talk about it. A long time I not talk about this. A long time I not talk about this. I've mentioned it a couple times since I've came on this app. United Economics. Marcus Garvey gave us the blueprint, Jamaica. He absolutely gave us the blueprint. Thank you so much, Sure. A company that everyone has the legal share to. And you know, I would love to speak to a Mark Golding about how, you know, some of that legal mind where business is concerned, about how this could be done, like literally, for it to work, where nobody is cut off and everybody understands what it is. But Muda want to know if we have 1,000 willing participants. I'm not talking about no talking, I'm talking about like you literally understand that this is the commitment. 1,000 Jamaican dollars a week. 4,000 Jamaican dollars a month. Because whatever loans you will take from the bank, because you put back the money every week, you don't necessarily have to cut the money out of your account, you know, because they're not going to take back all of the money, you know. The same money we put in a week or a month, it's going to pay back plus the money, so there are more money add on on it. So whatever speed you should pay back the money with, the bank is going to always be happy to lend you more money. And once you're putting the money into earning potentials, come on somebody. Sir, big up. Just think about your family. Right? Pitch the idea to them and get it cracking. Start in a small groups. Start on a partner. And like I said, it's an account where the money cannot be withdrawn by any individual. The money has to go into investments. Got to be investments. Straight business. I'm not smart. I am not. All I did was look at the pattern of what Marcus Garvey did. It's the same thing. Marcus Garvey already showed us he's the smart one. Marcus Garvey already showed us the mistakes that he made. We not make them. Simple. We not make them. Kerry Berry, what's up? Cheryl, how you doing? Mistake them when he make, we not make them, Jamaica. That's all. The people them in the ghetto, me I tell you no. Unite and take on yourself out of those situations. Stop the pen on the politician them. Shun them. Shun the politician them. You know, have to shun them harshly, you know. Come together with like minds and elevate yourself out of the situation. Once you own your own, that's where you have power, you have equity. You understand what I deal with? And what you're gonna do, you're gonna open up. You're gonna open up what you call it now? You're gonna open up jobs. You're gonna now become a creator of jobs. And there's people within your own circle that's putting in the money where, hey, if them have a skill set to work, them are gonna work and the business where them own are gonna pay them and them are put back their money in that business by saving the same $1,000 a week. So the money continue to circulate and grow. Circulate and grow. Circulate and grow. What do you think the Jews do? Come on, man. You think those families, those groups don't follow Marcus Garvey method? Keeping it within the right there. Supporting their own? Yes. Yes. If Africa was left for the Africans, we have all the resources there already. We are displaced. It is what it is. And you know another thing too? 15 years down the line, 20 years down the line, acquiring certain levels of asset. You know another thing too? To actually, and this is for the churches that is speaking the word of God, unfiltered. If you guys should engage in this long-term plan, you could use it to encourage marriage. Anybody that gets married would get the support of the church and that group by making sure them have a roof over their head for themselves and land. Yeah, man. It not have to be no big nothing, but at least something, a start. Hello, somebody. Something that they can build on. I'm just saying. Using up certain farming techniques. And you basically paying $1,000 a week and benefiting from it in that way. Again, it just keeps it money coming. It doesn't go anywhere. It just keeps piling up. The more family you have, people, you have children, they grow up, the cycle continues. The elders are taken care of. No elder in this program will be out in those streets and in a home somewhere. I must say the home where we operate, our group operate. So the elder them is near the children them and can impart wisdom. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm talking about a village, bro. I'm talking about so much, yo. The possibilities are endless. If we have persons in the group that are trained in the army. For those who are interested, we would have that training. Have a company that deals with security. So that would get more jobs for persons within the group and even outside of the group. You come for training and you're a trained professional and you're operating outside and creating jobs. Come on, man. Come on, man. Jamaica, you can't have 1 million people a part of the program. The program only grows faster. The expansion, K-Girl, what's up? The expansion is swifter. Black Wall Street, there you go, sure. We have to start thinking about ownership. That's what we have to. And any government that is not trying to help you to have ownership, shun them. Shun them. And oh, by the way, with a community of 1 million people, you don't even have to be 1 million. A community of 500,000 people. We can start our own government too. Persons from that community that have like minds, we fund them to get the education, to come back and advocate on our behalf for more expansion in the government. Long-term Jamaica. Long-term. And if you're talking about education, we can build our own schools, facilitate our own, what do you call it, educational manifesto and agenda. No, outside of the government influence, of course. If we don't want our kids to work with that, where do you think? We have qualified teachers that have certification to teach, that we send to school. I'm talking about building our own system, yo. Long term. Yeah, our own educational board, of course, led by righteous men and women. So you see all the little nastiness them when I'm teaching them in that school. Our kids, no. Hell no. Not no day in our school. And we would more than welcome any challenge from these educational facilities against our children. Like school challenge quiz. Hey, show them up. I make them know, say, yo, listen. Hey man, this is a higher level of education over here. Y'all is not moving fast enough with these kids' development. Having our 5-year-old run circles around the 12-year-olds. Our 6-year-old running circles around the 12-year-old. Our 7-year-old running circles around. China is already doing it. Their kids at 5 compared to ours is moons away. Like the distance between the moon and the sun. Or Saturn and the earth. There's just so much potential where unity is concerned, ladies and gentlemen. Of people of like mind that has vision. And I think the church as a body should have been operating like this. I think they should have been operating like this. Police in our own communities. I'm talking about people that work with the outside police them, yes. But we're legal in our own community. Security is important, you know. And when you're going to have assets all over the country, you're going to need security. But those security going to create jobs. But you want to make sure that these people are qualified and well trained. So education is important. Educating our own. And we need persons that are educated on the law as well. Very educated, that are well paid. obviously, that are part of our community. In the same circle of asset builders. I think I've gave you all a lot to think about, man. A lot to think about. I see Joanne is ready. Joanne is saying, let's start. Let's get on board. But I'm telling you, you're not going to see the full potential of it unless we come together like the ants. Just like we have the ants colonies. Yeah. No, I've never been to Lebanese or other Indian wedding family. Friends sponsor various aspects of the wedding. Then the couple is showed with money at the 3-day wedding. Yeah. So, you know, that family starts off. Those things encourage marriages because they get a lot of support. That's how it's supposed to be. That's how it's supposed to be. If the churches are operating the way they should, that's how it's supposed to be. Right? We used to do it in a Cali. We used to do it, and there's some places that tradition still stands. They encourage marriage because it brings wealth. Families uniting, unity always was seen as something that brought wealth. Always. But you know, we have, we have moved away from a lot of things, a lot of principles. One of the things that has really set us back is the attack on the family. There's a video. I don't know if I put it here. You see, we can't find it. There's a video. Here it is. Found it. Listen to this.
There's a spirit that has destroyed more relationships than infidelity ever could, and most people never know it's operating. So let me let you guys in on something that I experienced. One day, I had the privilege to have a very personal conversation about this very famous couple that it seemed like the entire world looked up to. I won't say their names, that's not my style, but let me tell you a little bit about them. They both were intelligent and God-fearing. For an example, he was the type of man that prayed over his household every single morning before his feet hit the floor. And she was brilliant, educated, and driven. They looked like the blueprint from the outside, right? But his leadership was always heavily resented. And for years, he didn't have a clue why. So he sat with it, right? He prayed on it. And because he was connected to a higher power, God eventually revealed what it was he was actually dealing with. Guess what it was? It was the Jezebel spirit. Jezebel at its core is a spirit of rebellion that positions itself directly against divine order. And the number one word that triggers it every single time is that infamous word, submission. See, what most people don't understand is that a woman who is highly capable and genuinely submissive to a man that is submitted to God, that woman operates at a frequency that most men will move heaven and earth for. True story. To understand something, that has never been her weakness. That is the highest form of spiritual intelligence a woman could ever walk in. But the spirit of Jezebel makes submission feel like surrender. And it makes divine order feel like oppression. And guess what? It convinced that woman that yielding to a stand-up man was the same as losing who she was. But by the time she understood the difference, it was all over. And that situation is a true story. Take a look at our culture, right? The spirit of Jezebel is beginning to gain more and more power. You can hear it all through our music. It has even begun to infiltrate some of the greatest minds on our planet, which is our life givers, which in turn has caused many of our life givers to come against life itself. Don't let that go over your head. So beware of what is operating in your presence, because Jezebel doesn't need your permission. She only needs ignorance. There's a spirit that has destroyed more relationships than infidelity ever could, and most people never know it's operating. So let me let you guys in on something that I experienced. One day, I had the privilege to have a very personal conversation about this very famous couple that it seemed like the entire world looked up to. I won't say their names, that's not my style, but let me tell you a little bit about them. They both were intelligent and God-fearing. For an example, he was the type of man that prayed over his household every single morning before his feet hit the floor. And she was brilliant, educated, and driven. They looked like the blueprint from the outside, right? But his leadership was always heavily resented. And for years, he didn't have a clue why. So he sat with it, right? He prayed on it. And because he was connected to a higher power, God eventually revealed what it was he was actually dealing with. Guess what it was? It was the Jezebel spirit. Jezebel at its core is a spirit of rebellion that positions itself directly against divine order. And the number one word that triggers it every single time is that infamous word, submission. See, what most people don't understand is that a woman who is highly capable and genuinely submissive to a man that is submitted to God, that woman operates at a frequency that most men will move heaven and earth for. True story. To understand something, that has never been her weakness. That is the highest form of spiritual intelligence a woman could ever walk in. But the spirit of Jezebel makes submission feel like surrender. And it makes divine order feel like oppression. And guess what? It convinced that woman that yielding to a stand-up man was the same as losing who she was. But by the time she understood the difference, it was all over. And that situation is a true story. Take a look at our culture, right? The spirit of Jezebel is beginning to gain more and more power. You can hear it all through our music. It has even begun to infiltrate some of the greatest minds on our planet, which is our life givers, which in turn has caused many of our life givers to come against life itself. Don't let that go over your head. So beware of what is operating in your presence, because Jezebel doesn't need your permission. She only needs your ignorance.
Man, listen. I don't need to say another word, man. Separation of the family. You know. Yeah, man. The devil is cunning, man. The devil is cunning. The devil is really good at what he does, or whatever it does. The devil is really, really cunning. All right, my people, man. Hey. With these types of conversation, I wish we had 2,000 people in the chat, but hey, it is what it is. Share this live. I'm gonna see if I can clip this up, you know what I mean, and put it out there by itself. But this is one of those deep conversations, man, that people need to, and you can incorporate this wherever you are. A lot of people got big families, you know what I'm saying? Put your money where your mouth is. Expand the family. What do you mean? What did I say with what? Sassy, were you listening? What's going on? What are you talking about? Khadija! What's up, Khadija? Khadija, big up yourself. Tickums, thank you for the gifts, then, my baby. Everybody, big up on yourself. Yeah, I'm jumping off, ladies and gentlemen. I'm gonna see if I can clip this part up and put it out. It's one of them deeper conversations. I think I'm gonna start having more of these live streams, man. I'm gonna just do the recording. You was doing something? You better watch the replay. Talking about what I was. I'm not gonna repeat all of that. I've been on here for what, 3 hours and 40 minutes. Yeah, you gotta watch that back. Distracted. Just checking. Yeah, but the spirit of Jezebel destroying, you know, what God intends for all of us. to be united. There's a separation between men and women. You find that even a woman that is following God, they still got reservations about submitting to a man of God in a relationship. That's crazy. And that's a problem. And that's where the spirit of Jezebel comes in and causes ultimate destruction. And then God's agenda cannot be, fulfilled. You know what I mean? But hey, salute. See y'all later. Have yourself a wonderful day, man. A wonderful evening, rest of the evening. God bless y'all. Bye, guys. Thank you again.